I want her. Now. 3 years of silence. 3 years of Dominic Hayes refusing every woman, every deal, every emotion. Then Emily Carter walks into his hotel and those 4 words destroy everything. Ryan Keller's knife plunges into Dominic's chest before she can scream his name. Blood explodes across white marble. The most feared man in Las Vegas collapses at her feet for a woman he's never even kissed. Emily's hands shake against her pregnant belly. Why did you? Dominic's eyes lock on hers through the pain. Because you're mine. You just don't know it yet. Before we go further, smash that subscribe button and stay until the end. Comment your city below. I want to see how far this love story reaches. Now let's start from the beginning. 11 hours earlier. Mr. Hayes doesn't see anyone without an appointment. Emily Carter stands in the marble lobby of Hayes Grand Hotel, manuscript bag pressed against her chest, facing a receptionist who looks at her like she's dust on expensive furniture. I have an appointment. Emily Carter, 10 a.m. The receptionist's eyes scan her computer screen. Her expression shifts, just slightly. You're the editor? Yes. For the charity cookbook. That's right. Emily keeps her voice steady even though her hands are shaking. She's been practicing this moment for 3 days. Ever since her publisher told her that Dominic Hayes, the billionaire who hasn't done a public interview in 5 years, specifically requested her for his late mother's foundation project. Mr. Hayes is running late. You can wait over there. Emily moves to the seating area. Cream leather chairs that probably cost more than her car. She doesn't sit. She's too nervous. This job could change everything. One project with the Hayes Industries means credibility, connections, enough money to finally leave her studio apartment in the bad part of town where Ryan somehow always knows which window is hers. She tries not to think about Ryan. She fails. Her phone buzzes. Unknown number. Her stomach drops. I know where you are. Emily's breath catches. She deletes the message, blocks the number. It's the 4th one this week. Ryan has dozens of burner phones. Blocking doesn't work. Nothing works. Miss Carter. She jumps. A man in his 50s, built like he used to break bones for a living, stands 2 feet away. I'm Marcus Reed, Mr. Hayes' security chief. He's ready for you now. Emily follows Marcus to a private elevator. They ride in silence to the top floor. The doors open directly into an office that's all windows and dark wood, and the kind of money that doesn't need to announce itself. Dominic Hayes stands with his back to her, looking out at the Las Vegas Strip. He doesn't turn around. Miss Carter, his voice is deep, controlled, empty of emotion. Thank you for coming. Of course, I'm honored you thought of me I didn't think of you. He turns. Emily's words die. Dominic Hayes is younger than she expected. 40 maybe? Dark hair starting to silver at the temples. Sharp suit that fits like it was born on him. But it's his eyes that stop her. Ice blue, completely detached. She's seen that look before. Men who've built walls so high, they've forgotten what it feels like to be human. I'm sorry, she manages. I didn't choose you. My mother did. He gestures to a leather folder on his desk. Before she died, she left instructions for this cookbook project. Your name was on the list. Evelyn Rose's editor, she wrote. Apparently she was a fan of the romance novels you work on. Emily's heart stutters. Her pen name. The secret identity she uses to edit romance manuscripts, because it's the only genre where women always win, always escape, always get believed. I don't understand. How did your mother know? She knew everything about everyone she cared about. Something flickers in his expression. Pain, maybe? The cookbook is meant to raise money for domestic violence survivors. She wanted someone who understood that world. Someone who'd been there. The air leaves Emily's lungs. I don't know what you mean. Don't you? Dominic's eyes don't leave her face. Ryan Keller, your ex-fiancé. 3 years ago, you left him in the middle of the night with nothing but a suitcase and your laptop. He reported you missing. Filed a police report claiming you stole from him, then dropped everything when you threatened to go public with what he did. Emily takes a step back. How do you? My mother was thorough. She believed survivors. She made sure I would too. He picks up the folder. The police report is in here, along with the hospital records from the 2 times you went to the ER claiming you fell. The restraining order you filed and then withdrew after he threatened to destroy your career. The emails where he told you no one would believe you. Tears burn Emily's eyes. Why are you telling me this? Because I want you to know I know. And I want you to know that if you take this job, you'll be safe here. Ryan Keller isn't allowed within 500 feet of this property. I've made sure of that. You don't even know me. No, Dominic sets the folder down. But my mother would have wanted me to protect you. So I will. Emily doesn't know what to say. 3 years of running, hiding, rebuilding herself in secret, and this stranger already knows everything. I don't need protection, she whispers. I need work. Then let's work. Dominic gestures to the chair across from his desk. The cookbook needs to be finished in 3 months. Can you do that? Emily sits. Her legs feel weak. Yes. Good. Marcus will set up your security clearance. You'll have an office on this floor. My assistant will coordinate schedules. He pauses. And Miss Carter? Yes. If Ryan contacts you, if he shows up anywhere near you, you tell me immediately. Understood. Why do you care? The question hangs between them. Dominic's expression doesn't change, but something shifts in his eyes. Because men like him don't stop unless someone makes them. And I have the resources to make him. That was 6 months ago. 6 months of Emily working in an office 3 doors down from Dominic's. 6 months of slowly realizing that the cold billionaire everyone fears is actually just a man who loved his mother so much he can't talk about her without his voice breaking. 6 months of conversations that started professional and became personal. 6 months of Dominic looking at her like she's a puzzle he can't solve. 6 months of Emily falling in love with someone she promised herself she'd never need. Now she stands in that same office, manuscript bag in hand, trying to tell him something that will change everything. You wanted to see me? Dominic doesn't look up from his computer. Yes, Emily's voice shakes. I have something to tell you. If this is about the cookbook launch next week, everything's arranged. It's not about the cookbook. He looks up, really looks at her. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. She takes a breath. I need to tell you something and I need you to listen without interrupting. Dominic leans back in his chair. I'm listening. I'm pregnant. Silence. It's yours, Emily continues quickly. I know we only slept together once, and I know you made it clear that night was just that it didn't mean anything beyond what it was, and I'm not telling you this because I expect anything from you. I'm telling you because you deserve to know. But I don't need money or support or your name on the birth certificate. I can handle this alone. More silence. Dominic's face is completely unreadable. Say something, Emily whispers. When did you find out? 2 weeks ago. And you waited until now to tell me. I needed time to figure out what I wanted first. What you wanted. He stands, walks to the window. And what do you want, Emily? I want to keep the baby. I want to publish my book. And I want to do both without anyone thinking I used you or trapped you or used me. His voice is flat. Is that what you think people will say? Yes. He turns to face her. What if I don't care what people say? Emily blinks. What if he stops, takes a breath? What if I told you that night meant something to me? What if I told you it's meant something every day since, but I didn't know how to say it without sounding like every other man who's tried to own you? Her heart stops. Dominic, you asked me once why I care so much about keeping you safe. He moves closer. You want the truth? She nods. Because the night you walked into this office 6 months ago, I looked at you and felt something I haven't felt since my mother died. I felt awake, and I've been trying to figure out how to tell you that without scaring you away, because I know what men like your ex did to you. I know you don't trust promises or protection or men who say they love you. You love me. I want you, Emily. The words are quiet but absolute. I've wanted you since the moment you told me you didn't need my protection. I've wanted you every time you edited my mother's recipes with tears in your eyes, because the stories remind you of your own grandmother. I've wanted you every time you stayed late just so we could talk about nothing. And I've wanted you every single day since that night when you let me touch you, and I realized I'd been waiting my whole life to feel that connected to another human being. Emily can't breathe. But wanting you and loving you are different things, Dominic continues. Wanting is selfish. Love is, he stops. Love is letting you choose, even if your choice isn't me. What if my choice is you? His eyes close. Don't say that unless you mean it. I mean it. Emily sets down the manuscript bag, walks to him. I'm terrified and I don't know how this works, and I keep waiting for you to turn into someone like Ryan. But every day you prove you're not him. Every day you show me what it looks like when someone cares without controlling. Emily. I'm in love with you, Dominic. I've been in love with you for months, and I'm sorry I didn't tell you about the baby sooner. But I needed to know I could stand on my own first. I needed to know I wasn't running to you because I was scared. I needed to know I was choosing you because I want you, not because I need you. Dominic's hand cups her face. And now I know. He kisses her. It's not like the first time, desperate and urgent and trying to outrun loneliness. This is slow, deliberate, a promise that tastes like forever. When they break apart, Dominic rests his forehead against hers. I want everything with you, he whispers. The baby, the book launch, the messy middle parts where we figure out how to be together, all of it. Even though I'm complicated, especially because you're complicated. He smiles, simple as boring, you're magnificent. Emily laughs through tears. You're insane. Probably, he kisses her again. But I'm your insane. Emily's phone buzzes. They both freeze. She pulls it from her pocket. Unknown number. Her hand starts shaking. You think he'll protect you. You think he'll want you when he knows the truth. Another text. A photo this time. Emily and Dominic in the hotel restaurant last week. His hand on her back, her laughing at something he said. He deserves to know what you really are. Emily, Dominic's voice is sharp. What is it? She shows him the phone. His expression goes dark. That's Ryan. I know. He's been watching you. He's always watching. Dominic takes the phone, forwards the messages to Marcus. This ends tonight. You can't watch me. He's already moving to his desk, pulling up security footage. Marcus, I need you in my office now. And get me every camera angle from the restaurant last week. Someone took this photo and I want to know who. Marcus appears 90 seconds later. They pull up footage, scrub through hours of video. Then Marcus points. There, table 16, guy in the baseball cap. He's got his phone aimed at your table the whole meal. Dominic zooms in. The image is grainy but clear enough. Ryan Keller. He was here, Emily breathes. He was 20 feet away, and I didn't even know. How did he get past security? Dominic's voice is ice. Marcus is already on his phone. I'm pulling entry logs now. He must have used a fake ID. Emily sinks into a chair. Her whole body is shaking. He's not going to stop. He knows about the book. He knows it's going to expose him. He's going to do everything he can to destroy it before it comes out. Then we move up the timeline, Dominic says. What? You were planning to publish after the baby's born. Change it. Publish now. This week. I can't, the manuscript isn't even. Yes, it is. Dominic opens his desk drawer, pulls out a stack of papers. I've been reading it. Every chapter you've sent to your publisher. It's ready, Emily. It's more than ready. It's brilliant. You read my book. I read everything you write. He sets the manuscript on the desk between them. Your publisher sent me advance copies for the charity auction. I couldn't stop reading. This story, what you survived, it deserves to be told. Now, before Ryan has time to spin a different narrative. Emily stares at the pages. Her life in black and white, every moment of abuse. Every time she stayed because she believed his apologies. Every scar he left on her soul. If I publish now, he'll come after me, she whispers. Yes. He'll tell everyone I'm lying. He'll sue for defamation. He'll lose. Dominic's hand covers hers. Because you have evidence. You have witnesses. You have every email, every text, every police report you were too afraid to use before. And now you have me, my lawyers, my resources, everything I have to make sure the truth wins. Why are you doing this? Because you shouldn't have to fight alone anymore. Emily's eyes burn. I'm not used to people helping without wanting something in return. I want something, Dominic admits. Her stomach drops. What? I want you to trust me, really trust me, not because I'm powerful or rich, or because I can protect you from Ryan. I want you to trust me because I've earned it, because I see you, all of you, and I'm not going anywhere. Emily looks at him. This man who's never made her feel small, who's never asked her to be less complicated or less damaged, or less angry at the men who hurt her. Okay, she says quietly. Okay, I trust you. She takes a shaky breath. Let's publish the book. Marcus's phone rings. He answers. His face goes pale. Boss, we have a problem. Dominic tenses. What kind of problem? Ryan Keller just posted bail an hour ago. Emily's blood runs cold. Bail? Bail for what? Marcus looks at her. You didn't know he was arrested 3 days ago for violating his restraining order against his current girlfriend. Same pattern. Stalking, threatening messages showing up at her workplace. He has another girlfriend. Emily's voice is hollow. Had. She pressed charges after he assaulted her in a parking garage. The room tilts. Another woman, another victim, another person Ryan convinced that love looked like control. Where is she now? Emily asks. Safe house, but she's scared. Her lawyer says Ryan's already contacted her family trying to make her drop the charges. He's doing the same thing he did to me. Emily stands. I need to talk to her. Emily, Dominic starts. I need to talk to her, Emily repeats. She needs to know she's not alone, that someone believes her, that he did this to me too, and I survived. Marcus and Dominic exchange a look. It's not safe, Marcus says. Ryan just made bail. He's going to be looking for. Emily's phone buzzes again. This time it's not a text, it's a photo. Her apartment building. Her car in the parking lot. A message. We need to talk. Tonight. Alone. Or I start making phone calls about your billionaire boyfriend and the baby you're using to trap him. He knows where I live, Emily whispers. Dominic takes the phone, reads the message. His expression goes deadly calm, the kind of calm that precedes violence. Pack a bag, he says quietly. You're moving into the hotel until this is over. I can't just pack a bag. His eyes meet hers. Please, Emily, let me keep you safe. He'll say you're controlling me. He'll tell everyone you're just like him. I don't care what he says. Dominic's voice softens. I care that you're alive. Everything else we can deal with later. Emily nods. Her hands won't stop shaking. Marcus is already on the phone coordinating hotel security, police escorts monitoring every camera between Emily's apartment and the Hayes Grand. I'll drive you, Dominic says. We get your things, we leave. 15 minutes maximum. Ryan will be watching. Let him watch. Dominic's smile is sharp. Let him see exactly what it looks like when someone actually protects you. The drive to Emily's apartment is silent. Marcus follows in a second car with 2 additional security guards. They sweep the parking garage before Dominic even opens his door. Clear, Marcus says through the radio. Dominic helps Emily out. His hand stays on her lower back as they walk to the elevator. Protective, but not possessive. A difference Emily's still learning to recognize. Her apartment is on the 4th floor. She unlocks the door. Everything looks normal, exactly how she left it this morning. Then she sees the kitchen counter. Roses. A dozen blood-red roses in a crystal vase she's never seen before. No card, no note. Just flowers that weren't there 6 hours ago. He was inside, Emily breathes. Dominic pulls her behind him. Marcus, now! Marcus and his team sweep the apartment, check every room, every closet, every window. Clear, Marcus reports, but someone was definitely here. Pick the lock. Professional job. Emily stares at the roses. He wants me to know he can get to me anywhere. That locks don't matter. That I'm never safe. You're safe with me, Dominic says. Am I? Emily turns to him. Or am I just putting you in danger? Maybe I should leave Vegas, go somewhere he can't find me. You're not running. Why not? I'm good at running. Because running means he wins. Dominic takes her hands. Because you have a book coming out in 4 days that's going to help thousands of women leave men like him. Because you're pregnant with our child, and I'll be damned if I let him steal 1 more second of your happiness. Dominic, I know you're scared. I know every instinct you have is screaming at you to run because that's how you survived before. But you're not alone anymore. You don't have to survive. You get to live. Tears stream down Emily's face. What if he hurts you? Then he hurts me. I can't let you. It's not up to you. Dominic wipes her tears. I'm choosing this. I'm choosing you. And I'm choosing to stand between you and every person who ever made you feel like you deserved less than everything. Emily kisses him, hard, desperate, trying to pour 3 years of fear and 6 months of love and 1 moment of absolute trust into this kiss. When they break apart, she whispers, "I need 10 minutes to pack. Take 20, I'm not going anywhere." Emily throws clothes into a suitcase. Dominic stands guard at the door, phone pressed to his ear, coordinating with police about the break-in. She's in the bathroom grabbing toiletries when her phone rings. Unknown number. Her hand hovers over it. Then she answers. "Hello, Emily." Ryan's voice is smooth, calm, the voice he used to use when he was about to make her feel insane. "Did you get my flowers? How did you get in here?" "Same way I always did. You never changed the locks after you left. You were always so trusting. I love that about you. You don't get to talk about love. I loved you more than anyone ever will, more than that billionaire who's using you for good PR. You know that, right? He's just playing hero. Once you're not interesting anymore, he'll discard you like everyone else does." "You're wrong." Where is he right now?" M standing guard, protecting the damsel. "How long before he gets tired of saving you and realizes you're not worth the effort?" "I'm hanging up." "Wait, I have a deal for you." Emily's hand freezes. "I know you're publishing that book," Ryan continues, "the one that makes me look like a monster. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to call your publisher and tell them you made it all up. You're going to say you had a breakdown, that you were confused, that our relationship was complicated, but I never hurt you. And in exchange, I'll leave you alone. I'll drop the defamation suit I'm about to file. I'll let you play house with your billionaire and raise his baby in peace. And if I don't, then I destroy you both. I have photos, Emily, of you and Hayes, in his hotel, in his car, in compromising positions. I have dates and timestamps. I have evidence that you started sleeping with him while you were still contracted to edit his mother's cookbook, which could be seen as professional misconduct. I have lawyers ready to argue that you seduced a grieving billionaire for money and access, and now you're trying to use a pregnancy to secure his wealth." Emily's stomach turns. "None of that is true." "Doesn't matter. The court of public opinion doesn't care about truth. They care about narrative, and my narrative is better than yours. Why are you doing this? Because you left me, Emily. You don't get to leave me and win. Nobody leaves me and wins." The line goes dead. Emily stands in her bathroom, shaking, staring at her reflection in the mirror. She looks tired, scared, exactly like she did 3 years ago when Ryan convinced her that leaving him was impossible. But something is different now. She's not alone. Emily walks back into the bedroom. Dominic is still on the phone. She waits until he hangs up. "Ryan just called," she says. Dominic's entire body goes rigid. "What did he say?" "He wants me to kill the book. Says if I don't, he'll destroy both of us." "Can he?" "I don't know." Emily sits on the bed. "He has photos, evidence that we were together before we should have been. He's going to paint me as a gold digger who seduced you for money. Let him try. Dominic, this could ruin your reputation." "I don't care about my reputation." He kneels in front of her. "I care about you, and I care about making sure Ryan Keller never hurts another woman again. So if that means my reputation takes a hit, fine. I'll survive. Will you?" Emily looks at him. "This man who's risking everything for here. I need you to understand what you're signing up for," she says quietly. "Ryan won't just come after me. He'll come after you, your business, your family name. He'll dig up every mistake you've ever made and use it against you." "I know. And you're still willing to..." "Emily," Dominic takes her face in his hands, "I've spent 5 years being exactly what everyone expected. The perfect son who took over the family business. The controlled billionaire who never showed emotion. The man who valued money over meaning. And I was miserable. Then you walked into my life and reminded me what it feels like to actually care about something. To want something more than success. So yes, I'm willing to risk everything. Because you're worth everything." Emily's resolve breaks. She kisses him through tears, through fear, through the terrifying realization that she's never been loved like this before. "I'm publishing the book," she whispers against his lips. "Good. And I'm going to testify against him if his other victim goes to trial. Even better. And I'm going to let you stand beside me while I do it. Not in front of me. Beside me. Dominic smiles. That's all I've ever wanted. They leave the apartment with 2 suitcases and a commitment to never come back. Marcus drives. Dominic sits in the back with Emily, his hand never leaving hers. They're 2 blocks from the hotel when Marcus's radio crackles. We have a situation at the hotel. White male 40s tried to bypass security at the north entrance. Claimed he had a meeting with Mr. Hayes. When we asked for ID, he became aggressive. We've detained him, but what? Marcus snaps. Sir, it's Ryan Keller. Emily's blood runs cold. He's at the hotel? Dominic's voice is deadly quiet. Yes, sir. He's demanding to speak with Miss Carter. Says he has information about the break-in at her apartment that could help the police investigation. It's a trap, Emily whispers. Obviously. Dominic agrees. Marcus tells security to call the police. Have them arrest him for violating bail conditions and stalking. Already done, boss. Police are 3 minutes out. Emily's phone buzzes. Another message from Ryan. Last chance, Em, meet me in the lobby, alone, or I start talking to reporters about your billionaire's dead mother and the real reason he hired you. Emily shows Dominic the message. His jaw clenches. What's he talking about? I don't know. Your mother hired me for the cookbook project. There's nothing. Then it hits her. The files Dominic showed her 6 months ago, the ones with her police reports and hospital records, the ones his mother collected before she died. He's going to say your mother stalked me, Emily breathes, that she invaded my privacy, that you both used my trauma for some kind of sick project. That's insane. It doesn't matter if it's insane. It's believable enough to plant doubt. And doubt is all Ryan needs. Dominic's hand tightens on hers. Then we get ahead of it. We tell the truth first. My mother was a domestic violence survivor herself. That's why she cared about this cause. That's why she researched editors who understood the issue. There's nothing sinister about it. Your mother was... Emily stops. You never told me that. I don't talk about it. Dominic's voice is strained. My father, before he died, he was violent. My mother spent 20 years in that marriage before she finally left. The hotel empire, the foundation, everything she built was her way of making sure other women had options she didn't have. Dominic, I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry, be ready. He looks at her. Because when we walk into that hotel and Ryan sees us together, he's going to do everything he can to make you doubt me, to make you think I'm using you the same way he did. And I need you to know right now, before we face him, that I'm not. I will never be. Emily nods. I know. Do you really? Yes. She squeezes his hand. Because if you were like him, you wouldn't be asking me if I know. You'd be telling me I know. There's a difference. Dominic exhales. Okay, then let's end this. They pull up to the hotel. Ryan is in the lobby, hands behind his back, security guards on either side. He's wearing an expensive suit, smiling, playing the role of reasonable businessman having a misunderstanding. Then he sees Emily. The smile disappears. Em, his voice carries across the marble floor. Thank God. Please tell these people this is all a misunderstanding. I just wanted to talk to you about the break-in. I'm worried about your safety. Emily doesn't respond. She walks straight past him toward the elevator. Emily, please. Ryan breaks free from the guards. I know you're scared. I know that man has convinced you I'm dangerous. But I'm not. I'm just trying to protect you. Like you protected your current girlfriend. Emily turns to face him. The one who's in a safe house right now because you put her in the hospital. Ryan's face hardens. She's lying. Just like you're lying in that book. Just like you've been lying to everyone about us. I have never lied about what you did to me. Haven't you? Ryan takes a step forward. Security moves to block him. You told people I was controlling, that I isolated you, that I made you afraid. But you never mentioned it how you cheated on me with your writing mentor, how you stole money from our joint account, how you saw. That's enough. Dominic's voice cuts through the lobby. Ryan's attention shifts. And here's the hero, the white knight billionaire who swoops in to save the damsel. How does it feel, Hayes, being used by a professional victim? How does it feel being a professional abuser? Dominic counters. Careful. That sounds like defamation. Truth isn't defamation. Dominic moves to stand beside Emily, not in front of her, beside her. And the truth is you're a predator. You find vulnerable women, isolate them, break them down until they believe they deserve the abuse. Then when they finally escape, you stalk them, threaten them, try to destroy their lives out of revenge. That's your narrative, based on the lies of a bitter ex-girlfriend who can't accept that I moved on. Is that why you broke into her apartment today? Dominic asks. Because you've moved on. Ryan's smile falters. I didn't. Security footage shows you entering Emily's building at 2:47 p.m. using a key you had copied when you lived together. You bypassed the lobby, used the service elevator, picked her lock, and left roses as a message. That's breaking and entering. That's stalking, and combined with your bail violation, that's enough to put you away for years. You can't prove any of that. I have 4 cameras, timestamps, and your fingerprints on the vase. Dominic pulls out his phone, shows Ryan the security footage. Want to keep lying? Ryan's composure cracks. For just a second, Emily sees it, the rage underneath. The violence he always kept hidden until he had her alone. You think you've won, Ryan says quietly. You think having money and lawyers and security means you can control the narrative. But I know things, Hayes. Things about your family, about your mother, about the real reason she killed herself. The lobby goes silent. Emily feels Dominic tense beside her. My mother died of cancer, Dominic says. Did she? Ryan's smile returns. Or did she die because she couldn't live with what your father did, with what you did, with the family secrets that would destroy the Hayes name if they ever came out? You're bluffing. I asked Emily about the file I sent her publisher last week. The one with hospital records from your mother's final days. The one that shows she overdosed on sleeping pills before the cancer could take her. The one that proves the great Hayes family legacy is built on lies. Emily's world tilts. She looks at Dominic. His face has gone pale. Is that true? She whispers. Dominic doesn't answer. Tell her, Ryan presses. Tell her how your mother killed herself because your father beat her for 30 years and you did nothing to stop it. Tell her how you inherited an empire built on domestic violence while pretending to care about survivors. Tell her the truth, Hayes. Dominic, Emily starts. It's true, Dominic's voice is hollow. My mother took pills 2 weeks before the cancer would have killed her. She left a note, said she couldn't wait anymore, couldn't handle one more day of pain. Why didn't you tell me? Because I'm ashamed. Dominic finally looks at her. Because I was 18 when she finally left my father, old enough to protect her. And I didn't. I was so focused on proving I wasn't like him that I abandoned her when she needed me most. So when she asked me to help with this foundation after she died, I said yes. Not because I'm a good person, because I'm trying to make up for being a coward. Emily's heart breaks. You were a child, she whispers. I was old enough to know better. So was I, and I still stayed with Ryan for 3 years. She takes his hand. We don't get to own our abuser's choices. We only get to own ours. Dominic's eyes close. Ryan laughs. How touching. The 2 broken toys finding comfort in each other's damage. It's almost poetic. We're done here, Marcus signals to security. The police are outside. Take him. This isn't over, Em. Ryan's voice follows them to the elevator. You publish that book, I publish mine, and we'll see whose truth the world believes. The elevator doors close on his face. Emily and Dominic stand in silence as the elevator rises. When they reach his penthouse, neither of them speaks. Dominic walks straight to the bar, pours 2 glasses of whiskey, hands one to Emily. She stares at it. I can't. The baby. He sets it down, takes a long drink of his own. You should leave, he says quietly. What? Ryan's right. Being with me puts you in danger. He'll keep digging, keep threatening, keep using my family's history against you. You deserve better than that. Don't do this. Do what? Push me away because you're scared. Emily moves closer. I know that move, Dominic. I invented that move. And I'm telling you right now, it doesn't work. It just makes you more alone. Maybe alone is safer. Safer for who, me or you? He doesn't answer. Emily takes the whiskey glass from his hand, sets it down, forces him to look at him on her. Your mother's suicide is not your fault, she says. Your father's abuse is not your fault. And Ryan using your trauma against you is definitely not your fault. None of this is your fault. You don't know that. Yes, I do, because I spent 3 years blaming myself for Ryan's abuse, thinking if I was quieter, prettier, easier, he wouldn't hurt me. And it was all a lie, just like the lie you're telling yourself right now. Dominic's jaw clenches. This isn't the same, isn't it? You're doing exactly what I did, believing the abuser's narrative instead of your own truth. My truth is that I failed my mother. Your truth is that you were a child in an impossible situation and you survived. And now you're using that survival to help other people survive. That's not failure, Dominic. That's heroism. I'm not a hero, Emily. His voice breaks. I'm just trying not to turn into my father. Emily's heart shatters. She pulls him into her arms. He resists for a second, then collapses against her. This man who carries the weight of an empire on his shoulders and won't let anyone see him break. You're nothing like your father, she whispers. You're kind. You're careful with people. You ask before you act. You respect boundaries. You've never once made me feel owned or controlled or less than human. You're nothing like him. Dominic holds her tighter. They stand like that for a long time. When he finally pulls back, his eyes are red. I need to tell you something else, he says. Emily's stomach drops. Okay. The night we slept together, it wasn't casual for me. It wasn't just... He stops. I've been in love with you since the second week you worked here. When you spent 45 minutes arguing with me about whether my mother's cookie recipe needed more vanilla. You were so passionate about something so small, and I realized I'd never met anyone who cared that much about getting the details right. Dominic, I didn't plan for that night to happen. But when it did, when you looked at me like I was worth wanting, I knew I was done. I knew I'd never want anyone else the way I want you, and that terrified me. Why? Because wanting you meant risking exactly this. You seeing my damage, my family's secrets, the parts of me I've spent 30 years hiding. And I was so sure that when you saw them, you'd leave. I'm not leaving. Ryan will keep attacking. He'll dig up every skeleton in my family's closet. He'll twist every truth into a weapon. Are you ready for that? Emily thinks about the book she's about to publish, the truth she's about to tell, the fight that's about to begin. I'm ready, she says, as long as you're beside me. Dominic kisses her, soft, reverent, like she's the only real thing in a world built on lies. I'm not going anywhere, he promises. Emily's phone rings at 2 a.m. She's asleep in Dominic's bed, his arm wrapped around her waist when the sound jerks her awake. Unknown number. Her hand hovers over it. Then she sees the voicemail notification from a number she recognizes, her publisher, at 2 a.m. Emily's hands shake as she plays the message. Emily, it's Karen. I need you to call me as soon as you get this. We have a situation with the book. Ryan Keller's lawyers sent a cease and desist. They're claiming defamation and threatening to sue for damages if we publish. The legal team is freaking out. They want to pull the book. Call me, please. Emily sits up. Dominic stirs beside her. What's wrong? They're pulling the book. He's awake instantly. Huklawa, my publisher. Ryan's suing for defamation. They don't want to risk it. Dominic takes her phone, listens to the message. His expression goes cold. Get dressed, he says. What? Get dressed. We were going to your publisher's office. It's 2 a.m. I don't care. He's already pulling on clothes. They don't get to kill your book because they're afraid of a lawsuit, not when everything in that book is true. Dominic, they have lawyers. They've made their decision. Then we change their decision. He looks at her. Unless you want to give up. Emily thinks about the women who wrote to her as Evelyn Rose. The ones still trapped with men like Ryan. The ones who need to know they're not crazy, not alone, not making it up. She thinks about the baby growing inside her, the daughter who deserves to know her mother fought for the truth. I'm not giving up, she says. Good, then let's go fight. They arrive at the publishing house at 3:15 a.m. Karen is already there, along with 3 lawyers and the head of legal. Emily, thank God. Karen looks exhausted. I'm so sorry. We tried to fight this, but the lawyers are saying that you're making the smart business decision. The head of legal interrupts. Miss Carter, we sympathize with your situation. But the risk of publishing this book outweighs the potential reward. Ryan Keller has a team of lawyers ready to bury us in litigation. We simply can't afford... How much? Dominic asks. Everyone stops. Excuse me? The lawyer blinks. How much would it cost to defend against Keller's lawsuit? Give me a number. Mr. Hayes, with all due respect, this isn't about money. Everything is about money. Give me a number. The lawyer exchanges glances with his colleagues. Conservative estimate, 2 million in legal fees, maybe 3, and that's assuming we win. And if you lose, damages could be anywhere from 5 to 20 million, depending on what the jury awards. Dominic pulls out his phone, makes a call. Marcus, I need you to transfer $25 million from my personal account to, he looks at the lawyer. What's your firm's name? Sterling and Associates, but Mr. Hayes. 25 million to Sterling and Associates. Retainer for the defense of Emily Carter and Hayes Publishing against Ryan Keller's defamation suit. Wire it in the morning. The room goes silent. You're paying our legal fees, Karen breathes. I'm ensuring the book gets published. Whether you want to publish it or not is up to you. But money is no longer an excuse. The head of legal clears his throat. Mr. Hayes, that's incredibly generous. But even with funding, there's the issue of publicity. A lawsuit this size will generate media attention, speculation. It could damage Miss Carter's reputation. Or it could make her a bestseller, Dominic counters. Nothing sells books like controversy, and nothing beats a defamation suit like proof. Emily has 3 years of documentation. Medical records, police reports, witnesses. Every piece of evidence you need to prove the book is factual. So publish it. Let Keller sue. And let's show the world what happens when survivors stop being silent. Emily stares at him. This man who's willing to spend $25 million to make sure her truth gets told. I can't let you do this, she whispers. You're not letting me. I'm choosing to. Dominic, 25 million, is nothing compared to what you're risking. He turns to her. You're risking your safety, your privacy, your peace of mind to tell a story that could save lives. The least I can do is make sure you have the resources to fight back. Karen looks at Emily. It's your call. Do we publish? Emily thinks about Ryan's threat, the lawsuit, the publicity, the nightmare that's about to become her life. Then she thinks about the alternative. Silence. Letting Ryan win. Teaching her daughter that powerful men always get away with it. We publish, she says. This week, exactly as planned. Karen nods. Then we publish. The book goes live 3 days later. Emily Carter's name is on the cover. Not Evelyn Rose. Her. The first review goes up at 9 a.m. 5 stars. This is the book every survivor needs to read. By noon, it's #1 on Amazon. By 3 p.m., Ryan's lawyers filed the defamation suit. By 6 p.m., Emily's doing her first interview. The reporter is young, sympathetic. She asks gentle questions about the book, the abuse, the decision to publish under Emily's real name. What made you decide to stop hiding, the reporter asks. Emily thinks about Dominic, about the baby, about all the years she spent believing she deserved to be small. I stopped hiding because hiding means my abuser wins, she says, and I'm done letting him win. You're currently in a relationship with Dominic Hayes, the billionaire who's funding your legal defense. Some people are saying you're using him for money and protection. How do you respond to that? Emily takes a breath. I'd say those people don't know what it's like to have someone actually care about you without needing to own you. Dominic isn't protecting me because he thinks I'm weak. He's standing beside me because he knows I'm strong enough to fight, and he wants to make sure I don't have to fight alone. There's a difference between support and control, and anyone who can't see that difference has probably never experienced real love. The interview airs that night. Within hours, it's viral. Emily's phone explodes with messages. Support, hate, everything in between. One message stands out. From Ryan's other victim, the woman in the safe house. Thank you for being brave. I'm testifying too. He doesn't get to win anymore. Emily shows Dominic the message. He pulls her close. You did that. You gave her courage. We did that together. Ryan's legal team schedules the deposition for the following week. Emily spends 6 hours answering questions. They try to break her, imply she's lying, suggest she's mentally unstable, ask invasive questions about her sex life, her finances, her relationship with Dominic. She doesn't break. When they ask if she's profiting from false allegations, she looks the lead lawyer in the eye. I'm profiting from the truth, she says. If Ryan wants to prove it's false, he's welcome to try. I have 3 years of evidence. What does he have besides intimidation tactics? The lawyer has no answer. Dominic testifies the next day. They try the same approach with him. Suggest he's manipulating a vulnerable woman. that he's using Emily's trauma for publicity. Emily Carter doesn't need me to validate her story, Dominic says calmly. Her story validates itself. I'm just making sure she has the resources to tell it without fear. If that makes me a manipulator in your eyes, so be it. I'd rather be called a manipulator than stand by and watch another woman get silenced by a man who doesn't understand that no means no. The deposition ends. Emily and Dominic walk out together. That was brutal, Emily says. That was nothing compared to what's coming. She looks at him. Are you scared? Terrified. Of losing. Of losing you. He stops, turns to face her. Ryan's going to get worse. He's going to dig deeper, attack harder, try to destroy everything we've built. And at some point you might look at me and think this isn't worth it. That being with me causes more pain than joy. And I'm terrified of that day. Emily takes his face in her hands. That day isn't coming. You don't know that. Yes, I do. Because I've already lived through the worst kind of love. The kind that destroys. And now I know what the best kind looks like. The kind that builds. And I'm not giving that up for anything. Dominic kisses her in the middle of the courthouse steps. Cameras flash. Tomorrow those photos will be everywhere. But right now, Emily doesn't care. Right now, she's just a woman kissing the man she loves. And that's enough. 3 weeks later, Ryan's case starts to fall apart. His other victim testifies. She's calm, detailed, devastating. 2 more women come forward. Same pattern, same abuse. The jury sees exactly who Ryan is. Emily takes the stand on a Tuesday. She tells her story, every detail, every moment, every time she stayed because she believed his apologies. Ryan's lawyer tries to discredit her. Isn't it true you never filed a police report until after you left Mr. Keller? Yes. And isn't it true you continued the relationship for months after the alleged abuse began? Yes. So you had opportunities to leave, to seek help, but you didn't. Why should we believe you were actually afraid? Emily looks at the jury. Because fear doesn't always look like running, she says quietly. Sometimes fear looks like staying because you've been convinced that leaving will be worse. Sometimes fear looks like apologizing for your abuser's violence because you've been taught it's your fault. Sometimes fear looks like survival. And survival isn't pretty. It's messy and complicated, and it doesn't fit into neat timelines that make sense to people who've never lived it. The courtroom is silent. I didn't leave the first time he hit me because I thought it was a mistake. I didn't leave the second time because he cried and promised it would never happen again. I didn't leave the third time because he'd isolated me from everyone who might have helped me. I finally left because I realized that staying meant dying. Maybe not physically, but emotionally, spiritually, I was disappearing. And I decided I'd rather risk everything to be free than stay safe in a cage. The lawyer has no response. Emily steps down. As she passes Ryan's table, their eyes meet. For the first time, she sees fear in his face. He knows he's losing. The verdict comes back on a Friday, not guilty of defamation. The jury finds Emily's book to be substantially truthful. They award her damages for emotional distress caused by Ryan's lawsuit. Ryan is arrested in the courtroom for violating his restraining order. Emily watches him being led away in handcuffs. She feels nothing, no satisfaction, no relief, just emptiness, where rage used to live. You okay? Dominic's hand is on her back. I don't know, Emily admits. I thought I'd feel different, victorious or something, but I just feel tired. That's normal. Is it? You've been fighting for 3 years. Your body doesn't know how to stop yet. He guides her out of the courtroom. Give it time. They walk through a crowd of reporters. Emily doesn't answer questions. She just keeps walking. In the car, she finally breaks down. He's going to appeal, she sobs. He's going to keep fighting, and I'm so tired of fighting. Then stop. Dominic pulls her close. You won. The book is published. Your truth is out there. Ryan's in jail. Let the lawyers handle the appeal. You're done fighting. But what if nothing? You're done. You get to rest now. Emily cries against his chest. For the first time in 3 years, she lets herself believe it's over. They're driving back to the hotel when Marcus calls. Boss, we have a situation. Dominic puts it on speaker. What kind of situation? Ryan made bail. Posted it 10 minutes ago. Emily's blood runs cold. How is that possible? His family put up their house, Judge approved it against the prosecutor's recommendation. Where is he now? We don't know. He's not wearing a monitor yet. They're supposed to fit him tomorrow, but right now he's in the wind. Dominic's jaw clenches. Double security at the hotel. Emily doesn't go anywhere without 3 guards. Already done. Emily's phone buzzes. Unknown number. She almost doesn't look. Then she does. Congratulations on your victory. Enjoy it while it lasts. I'll see you tonight. Her hands start shaking. He's coming for me, she whispers. No. Dominic's voice is steel. He's not getting near you. You can't stop him. Watch me. They arrive at the hotel. Security is everywhere. Marcus has teams on every floor. But Emily knows Ryan. He doesn't need to get through security. He just needs to wait until she's vulnerable. They go up to Dominic's penthouse. Emily tries to calm down, tries to believe the guards and the cameras and the locked doors will keep her safe. At 11 p.m., she goes to the bathroom. When she comes out, the lights are off. Dominic? No answer. Her heart starts pounding. Dominic, this isn't funny. A hand grabs her from the behind. She screams. Then she smells it. The cologne Ryan always wore. Hello, Em. His voice is in her ear. Miss me. The knife presses against her throat, and Emily realizes that victory doesn't mean safety. It just means Ryan has nothing left to lose. Emily's scream dies in her throat. Ryan's hand clamps over her arm. The knife is cold against her skin. She can feel her pulse hammering against the blade. Shh. His breath is hot on her neck. We don't want to wake the guards, do we? Emily's mind races. Dominic was just here. Where is he? Why aren't the lights working? I'm going to move my hand, Ryan whispers, and you're going to be very quiet, because if you scream, I'll cut you before anyone can reach this room. Understand? She nods. Barely. His hand lifts. Emily sucks in air. Where's Dominic? Your boyfriend, Ryan laughs softly. Taking a little nap. Turns out hotel staff are easy to bribe when you offer enough money. The maid who brought your evening tea, she's $50,000 richer, and Dominic's sleeping off enough sedatives to drop a horse. You didn't kill him? No. I'm not a murderer, Em. I'm just a man who wants his fiancée back. I'm not your fiancé. Aren't you? The knife presses harder. We never officially ended things. You just ran away in the middle of the night like a coward. That doesn't count as a breakup. Emily's hands are shaking. She needs to keep him talking, needs to buy time for the guards to notice something's wrong. How did you get past security? Same way I got into your apartment. Same way I always get what I want. He turns her around to face him. The knife stays at her throat. I'm smarter than everyone gives me credit for, including you. In the dim light from the city outside, Emily can see his face. He looks different, thinner, wild-eyed, desperate. Ryan, please? Please what? Please don't hurt you. Please let you go. He tilts his head. Why would I do that? You destroyed my life, Emily. My reputation, my career, my future. Everything I built is gone because you couldn't keep your mouth shut. You destroyed your own life by abusing women. The slap comes fast. Emily's head snaps to the side. Her cheek burns. Blood fills her mouth where her teeth cut the inside of her lip. Don't. Ryan's voice is eerily calm. Don't you dare blame me for your lies. I loved you. I gave you everything. And you repaid me by sleeping with a billionaire and writing a book full of fiction designed to make me look like a monster. It's not fiction. It's all fiction. His voice rises. You were never afraid of me. You were never hurt. You were just bored and looking for drama to fuel your pathetic writing career. Emily spits blood. If that's what you need to believe, it's the truth. The truth is you're a coward who only feels powerful when you're hurting someone weaker than you. Ryan's eyes go dark. The knife moves from her throat to her stomach. Is this where the bastard's baby is? He asks softly. Right here. Emily's breath stops. Answer me, Em. Is Hayes's baby right here under my knife? Yes. Good. He presses the tip against her shirt. Not breaking skin, just enough pressure to terrify. Then you are going to do exactly what I say, or I'll make sure you lose everything that matters. What do you want? I want you to come with me. Right now, we're going to walk out of this hotel together. You're going to smile for any cameras we pass, and you're going to get in my car like a good girl. And if I don't, then I'll kill Hayes while he sleeps. I'll make it look like a suicide. Grieving billionaire couldn't handle the scandal of his pregnant girlfriend lying about her ex. It'll be tragic, believable, and you'll have to live with the knowledge that you got him killed. Emily's whole body goes cold. You're bluffing. Am I? Ryan's smile is sharp. I have nothing left to lose, Em. My reputation is destroyed. My family disowned me. I'm facing prison time. What's one more crime? Security will stop us before we reach the elevator. No, they won't, because you're going to tell them everything's fine, that we're old friends catching up, that you asked me here. The knife presses harder, and you're going to be very convincing. Because if you're not, I'll gut you in this elevator, and Hayes will wake up to find you bled out on his floor. Emily's mind spins through options. She could scream, but Ryan's knife would reach her before the guards reached him. She could fight, but she's 4 months pregnant and he's got 40 pounds on her. She could run, but he's between her and the door. Okay, she whispers. I'll come with you. Smart girl. Ryan grabs her arm. Now let's go. They move toward the penthouse door. Emily's eyes search for Dominic. She finds him slumped in his desk chair, head tilted back, breathing shallow but steady. Alive. Thank God. Keep moving, Ryan hisses. They step into the hallway. 2 guards stand at attention near the elevator. Miss Carter? One of them nods. Everything all right? Emily opens her mouth. Ryan's fingers dig into her arm. The knife is hidden under his jacket, but she can feel it against her side. Everything's fine, she manages. This is an old friend, Ryan Keller. We're just going downstairs to talk. The guard's expression shifts. Ma'am, Mr. Keller isn't on the approved visitor list. I know. I asked him here. It's fine. We should notify Mr. Hayes. Mr. Hayes is sleeping. I don't want to disturb him. Emily forces a smile. Really, it's okay. We'll just be in the lobby. The guards exchange glances. I need to see some ID, sir, one says to Ryan. Ryan pulls out his wallet with his free hand. Shows his license. The guard radios someone. We have Ryan Keller in the penthouse hallway with Miss Carter. She says he's cleared to be here. Static. Then Marcus's voice. Negative, Keller is not cleared. Detain him immediately. The guards reach for their weapons. Ryan moves faster. He yanks Emily in front of him as a shield knife suddenly visible at her throat. Nobody move. His voice echoes down the hallway. I'll cut her right here. Right now. Back away from the elevator. Mr. Keller put down the weapon. I said back away. The guards step back, hands raised. Emily, are you hurt? One asks. I'm fine, she whispers. We're getting in the elevator, Ryan says, and nobody follows us. If I see anyone on the security feed, if I hear footsteps behind us, I'll kill her. Understand? The guards nod slowly. Ryan drags Emily into the elevator. The doors close on the guards' faces. Emily's reflection stares back at her in the mirrored elevator walls. Ryan behind her knife, gleaming her face white with terror. That was stupid, she says. Now they know you're here. They'll have police waiting downstairs. No, they won't. Ryan hits the button for the parking garage, not the lobby. Because Marcus is smart, he knows that confronting me means risking your life. So he'll clear a path. He'll let us leave. And then he'll track us. You're not going to get away with this. I don't need to get away with it. I just need enough time. Enough time for what? Ryan doesn't answer. The elevator descends. Emily counts floors, tries to think. When they reach the garage, Ryan pulls her out fast. His car is parked in a corner spot far from the cameras. He shoves her toward the passenger side. Get in! Ryan, please. Get in the car, Emily. She gets in. He locks the doors from the driver's side. Child locks. She can't open her door from inside. Where are you taking me? Somewhere we can talk without interruption. He starts the engine. There's nowhere to go. The police. The police can't help you. Ryan pulls out of the parking spot. Neither can your billionaire boyfriend. This is just you and me now, like it always should have been. They drive up the garage ramp toward the exit. Emily sees Marcus in the security booth. He's on the phone watching them through the glass. Their eyes meet. She mouths, help me. Then they're through the barrier and onto the Las Vegas Strip. Ryan drives fast, but not recklessly, blending into traffic, taking random turns. They're following us, Emily says quietly. I know. Then why? Because I have a plan. He glances in the rearview mirror. How much do you think Hayes loves you, ma'am? What? Serious question. How much enough to die for you? We already know that. He took a knife for you once. Ryan's smile is cold. But would he trade his empire for you? His reputation? His future? I don't understand. You will. They drive for 20 minutes, out of the city, into the desert, empty highway stretching in every direction. Emily's phone buzzes in her pocket. She tries to reach for it. Ryan grabs her wrist. Don't even think about it. It's probably just Dominic. It's definitely Dominic, who's probably awake by now, probably losing his mind trying to find you. Ryan forces her hand back to her lap. Let him suffer. He deserves it for thinking he could take what's mine. I'm not yours. You'll always be mine. He turns onto a dirt road. First love never lets go, Em. You can run to billionaires and write your little books and pretend you've moved on. But part of you will always belong to me, the part I broke, the part that is too damaged for anyone else to want. You're wrong. Am I? Ryan slows the car. Then why are you here? Why didn't you fight harder? Why didn't you scream? Because you threatened to kill Dominic. And you believed me. Because deep down you know I'm capable of it. You know what I am. And you know you created me. Emily's voice rises. I didn't create you. You did. Ryan slams on the brakes. The car skids to a stop in a cloud of dust. I was fine before you. I was normal. Then you came into my life with your neediness and your insecurity and your constant need for validation. You made me into the bad guy because you couldn't handle a real relationship. That's not true. It is true. Every time I tried to help you, you called it controlling. Every time I set boundaries, you called it abuse. Every time I got frustrated with your behavior, you made me feel like a monster. You gaslighted me into thinking I was the problem when you were the one destroying us. Emily stares at him. This is what abusers do. They rewrite history, make the victim responsible for their violence. You hit me, she says quietly. You isolated me from my family. You told me I was worthless. You destroyed my confidence. You controlled every aspect of my life. That's not helping. That's not boundaries. That's abuse. From your perspective, from reality, Emily's voice cracks, and the fact that you still can't see it proves you'll never change. You'll just find another woman to break and convince her it's her fault too. Ryan's hand moves to the knife. For a long moment, neither of them speaks. Then headlights appear behind them. 3 black SUVs pull up around Ryan's car, blocking him in. Marcus steps out of the first vehicle. Behind him, 6 security guards with weapons drawn. Game over, Keller. Marcus's voice carries across the desert. Let her go. Ryan laughs. Or what you'll shoot me with Emily sitting right here. That's not a gamble Hayes would take. Let her go and we can talk about this. There's nothing to talk about. Ryan starts the engine again. I'm leaving with Emily. And if anyone follows us, I'll drive this car off a cliff and kill us both. At least then she can't leave me again. Emily's heart stops. He means it. She can see it in his eyes. The absolute conviction that if he can't have her, no one can. Ryan, she says carefully, look at me. He doesn't. Please look at me. Slowly he turns his head. You don't want to die, Emily says. I know you don't, because dying means I win. Dying means the story ends with you as the villain and me as the survivor. Is that really what you want? Something flickers in his expression. What I want, he says slowly, is for you to admit you lied. Admit the book is fiction. Admit you were never afraid of me. I can't do that. Why not? Because it would be alarm, and I'm done lying to protect you. Ryan's jaw clenches. Then we have a problem. He reaches for the gear shift. Emily makes a choice. She grabs the steering wheel and yanks it hard to the right. The car lurches. Ryan curses, fighting for control. Emily throws herself at him, clawing at his face, going for his eyes. The knife comes up between them. They struggle. The car careens off the road. Emily feels the blade slice across her forearm. Hot blood, sharp pain. Then the car hits something, a boulder maybe, and flips. The world turns upside down. Glass shatters. Metal screams. Emily's head cracks against something hard. Everything goes black. When Emily opens her eyes, she's on the ground. Marcus is above her, checking her pulse, talking into his radio. Need medical immediately. She's breathing but unresponsive. I'm responsive, Emily croaks. Marcus's face floods with relief. Don't move. Ambulance is 2 minutes out. Ryan. Unconscious, trapped in the car. He's alive but not going anywhere. Emily tries to sit up. Pain explodes through her skull. I said don't move. Marcus gently pushes her back down. You hit your head. Could be a concussion. The baby... We don't know yet. That's why you need to stay still. Sirens will wail in the distance. Emily's hand moves to her stomach. Please be okay, please. A car door slams. Then Dominic is there, dropping to his knees beside her, his face white with terror. Emily. I'm okay, she whispers. You're bleeding. It's just my arm. Dominic, I'm okay. His hands are shaking as he touches her face. When I woke up and you were gone, when Marcus told me Ryan had you. I know. I thought I lost you. You didn't. She tries to smile. It hurts. I'm right here. Dominic leans down and presses his forehead to hers. His breath is ragged. Don't ever do that again. Don't ever. His voice breaks. I can't lose you. You won't. The ambulance arrives. Paramedics swarm. They check Emily's vitals, bandage. Her arms stabilize her neck. Ma'am, do you know you're pregnant? One asks. Yes. How far along? 4 months. They exchange glances. We need to get you to the hospital. Check on the baby. Make sure there's no internal bleeding. Emily nods. As they load her onto the stretcher, she sees Ryan being extracted from the wreckage. He's conscious now, screaming. Emily! Emily, please, I'm sorry. I didn't mean Emily. She doesn't look at him. Dominic climbs into the ambulance with her, holds her hand the entire ride. I love you, he says quietly. In case I haven't said it enough, I love you. I love you too. When we get to the hospital, when we know you're okay, when the baby's okay, he takes a shaky breath. I'm never letting you out of my sight again. That's not healthy, Emily manages. I don't care. He kisses her knuckles. Healthy can wait. Right now, I just need you alive. The hospital is chaos. Doctors descending, questions firing, monitors beeping. They do an ultrasound. Emily holds her breath as the technician moves the wand over her stomach. Silence. Then a heartbeat. Fast and strong and perfect. Baby's fine, the technician says. No signs of distress. Heartbeat is exactly where it should be. Emily starts crying. Dominic does too. They hold each other and sob with relief while the technician quietly leaves to give them privacy. Our baby's okay, Emily whispers against his chest. Our baby's okay, he repeats. A doctor comes in 30 minutes later with test results. You have a mild concussion, she says, and the cut on your arm needed 12 stitches. But otherwise, you're remarkably lucky. No internal bleeding, no broken bones. You and the baby should both make a full recovery. How long do I need to stay here? Overnight for observation. We want to monitor you for any delayed symptoms. But if everything stays stable, you can go home tomorrow. The doctor leaves. Dominic pulls a chair next to Emily's bed, sits, doesn't let go of her hand. I need to tell you something, he says. Emily's stomach tightens. Okay. When I woke up and you were gone, when I realized what happened, I wanted to kill him. Dominic's voice is flat. I wanted to find Ryan and beat him until he stopped breathing. I've never felt that kind of rage before. Not when my father died. Not when my mother killed herself. Never. Dominic. And I'm terrified of that feeling because I swore I'd never be like my father. I swore I'd never let anger control me. But tonight I wanted to destroy him for touching you, and I would have, if Marcus hadn't stopped me. Emily squeezes his hand. But you didn't. Only because I wasn't there fast enough. You were sedated. That's not your fault. I should have protected you better. I should have... Stop. Emily sits up despite the pounding in her head. You did everything you could. You hired security. You funded my legal defense. You stood beside me through everything. This isn't on you. This is on Ryan. Only Ryan. Dominic looks at her. His eyes are red. How are you so calm right now? I'm not calm. I'm furious, but I'm also exhausted. And I'm done letting Ryan steal my peace. She touches his face. He took enough from me. I'm not giving him one more second of my emotional energy. I don't know how you do that. Practice, therapy, spite. She smiles weakly. Mostly spite. He kisses her palm. You're the strongest person I've ever met. I'm really not. I'm just tired of being afraid. Marcus arrives at midnight with updates. Ryan's in custody, he says. Multiple charges, kidnapping, assault with a deadly weapon, violating his restraining order. The DA says with his prior record, he's looking at 20 years minimum. Good, Emily says. There's more. His other victim, the girlfriend in the safe house she went on record today, gave a full interview to the media. Between her testimony and yours, 3 more women have come forward, all with similar stories. The DA thinks they can build a pattern case. Dominic leans forward. What does that mean? It means Ryan's going away for a long time. Maybe life if the judge stacks the sentences. Emily closes her eyes. Relief washes through her. It's really over. What about the defamation suit, Dominic asks. Dead in the water. Ryan's lawyer withdrew this afternoon. Said his client can't afford to continue litigation while defending criminal charges. Marcus allows himself a small smile. Looks like you won. Emily doesn't feel like she won. She feels like she survived. There's a difference. When can I make a statement? She asks. You want to talk to the press? Marcus looks surprised. I want to talk to the other survivors. The ones who came forward. I want them to know they're not alone. Marcus nods. I'll set it up for when you're released. He leaves. Dominic shifts in his chair. You don't have to do a press conference. You've been through enough. I know I don't have to. I want to. Emily looks at him. Those women were brave enough to tell their stories because I told mine. The least I can do is stand with them publicly. What if Ryan sees it? What if it sets him off again? He's in jail. He can't touch me anymore. Physically, no, but mentally. Dominic. Emily takes both his hands. I can't live in fear of what Ryan might think or feel or do. I did that for 3 years. It almost destroyed me. I'm not doing it anymore. He searches her face. You're sure? I'm sure. Then I'll be right there with you. You don't have to. I'm standing beside you. That's not negotiable. Emily's throat tightens. Okay. At 3 a.m. a nurse brings Emily's phone. This was in your belongings, she says. It's been buzzing nonstop. Emily unlocks it. 47 missed calls, 63 text messages. Most are from her publisher, her agent reporters requesting interviews. But one stands out, from a number she doesn't recognize. Emily, this is Sarah Chen, Ryan's ex before you. I saw the news. I need to talk to you. Please call me. Emily's hands start shaking. Sarah Chen. Ryan mentioned her once years ago, said she was crazy, obsessed, that she made up stories about him and he had to get a restraining order against her. Emily believed him. Now she knows better. She calls the number. A woman answers on the first ring. Hello, Sarah. Oh my God, Emily, thank you for calling. I wasn't sure you would. I almost didn't. I understand. Ryan told you I was crazy, right? Emily's breath catches. How did you? Because he told every girlfriend after me the same thing. That I was unstable. That I lied about him. That I tried to ruin his life. Sarah's voice is tight with old pain. I've been watching your case, watching you be brave enough to speak out. And I realized I owe you an apology. For what? For not warning you. I knew what he was. I knew he'd do to you what he did to me. And I said nothing because I was too scared. Emily sits up straighter despite her concussion. What did he do to you? Everything he did to you. The isolation, the gaslighting, the violence. It started small, criticizing my clothes, my friends, my job. Then it escalated. By the end, I was afraid to leave the apartment without his permission. How did you get out? He moved on to you. Sarah's laugh is bitter. I wasn't enough anymore. So he discarded me and told everyone I was the abusive one, that he had to escape me. Emily feels sick. And people believed him. Everyone believed him. He's charming, successful, good-looking. Why would he lie? Sarah pauses. But you didn't let him get away with it. You fought back. You published your truth. You inspired 3 other women to come forward, including me. You're testifying. I already gave my statement to the DA. They're adding my case to the pattern evidence. Sarah's voice strengthens. Because of you, Emily, you gave me courage I didn't know I had. Tears stream down Emily's face. I don't know what to say. Say you'll keep fighting. Say you won't let him silence you. I won't. I promise. Good. Sarah takes a breath. There's something else you should know. Ryan has a sister, Monica. She reached out to me last week. Said she wants to testify too. Emily's world tilts. His sister. But he told me his family disowned him. They did, after Monica told them what Ryan did to her when they were teenagers. Emily's blood runs cold. What? He was abusive to her too. Not sexually, but psychologically. He'd lock her in closets, tell her she was worthless, threatened to hurt her if she told their parents. She kept quiet for 20 years. But after seeing your case, she's ready to talk. Emily can't breathe. How many of us are there? That we know of 6, but I think there are more. Women too scared to come forward. Women who blame themselves. Women who think they won't be believed. We need to find them. That's why I'm calling. I want to start a support group for Ryan's victims. A place where we can share our stories, heal together, help each other through the legal process. Would you be willing to be part of it? Emily looks at Dominic, who's been listening to her side of the conversation with growing horror. Yes, she says. Absolutely yes. Emily hangs up and tells Dominic everything. He goes pale. 6 women, at least 6, that we know of. And his own sister, Dominic starts pacing. How did I miss this? How did my mother's research not uncover? Because abuse is invisible until the victim speaks. Your mother found my story because I went to the ER, because I filed a police report, but Sarah never did. Monica never did. Some women never report because they don't think anyone will believe them. Dominic stops pacing. We need to do more. What do you mean? The foundation. My mother's foundation. We're expanding it. We're creating a program specifically for pattern abuse cases. Legal support, therapy, housing. Everything survivors need to escape and rebuild. Dominic, that's going to cost millions. I don't care. He turns to her. Ryan destroyed at least 6 lives. Probably more. And he almost destroyed yours. If money can help even one woman escape before it gets that far, it's worth it. Emily's heart swells. You're serious. I've never been more serious about anything. Then I'm in. However you want me involved, I'm in. Dominic sits back down, takes her hands. I want you to run it. What? The program. I want you in charge. You understand what survivors need because you lived it. You know how to talk to them, how to make them feel safe. You're perfect for this. I'm not perfect for anything. I'm barely holding myself together. You took on a billionaire's son, published your truth despite death threats, testified in court, and survived a kidnapping. You're the strongest person I know. If anyone can run this program, it's you. Emily stares at him. You really believe that? With everything I have. She thinks about the women who wrote to her, about Sarah and Monica and the 3 who came forward, about all the silent victims still trapped with men like Ryan. Okay, she whispers. I'll do it. The press conference happens 3 days later. Emily stands at a podium with 5 other women. Sarah, Monica, Ryan's 3 most recent victims. Cameras flash. Reporters shout questions. Emily steps forward. My name is Emily Carter, she begins, and I'm a survivor of domestic violence. The room quiets. 3 years ago, I left my abuser in the middle of the night with nothing but a suitcase and my laptop. I was terrified. I thought I'd never be safe again. I thought I'd never be believed. She looks at the women beside her. But I was wrong because these women believed me. They saw my story and recognized their own. They found courage to speak when speaking felt impossible. And together we're sending a message to every abuser who thinks they can silence us. Emily's voice strengthens. You can't. Not anymore. For every woman you hurt, 10 more will stand up. For every lie you tell, we'll speak 100 truths. And we will keep fighting until every survivor knows they're not alone. The room erupts in applause. Dominic watches from the side of the room, his expression a mix of pride and love and absolute commitment. When the press conference ends, reporters swarm. Emily answers questions calmly, clearly, without shame. She's done hiding. That night, Emily and Dominic lie in bed in his penthouse. She's finally been cleared to leave the hospital. Her concussion is healing. The baby is perfect. How do you feel? Dominic asks. Exhausted, terrified, free. Emily turns to look at him. All of it at once, Fuji. Free is good. Free is terrifying. I don't know how to be free yet. Dominic pulls her closer. Then we'll figure it out together. Emily rests her head on his chest, listens to his heartbeat, strong and steady and real. Dominic. Yeah. Thank you for not giving up on me, even when I was too scared to fight for myself. I didn't do anything. You did everything. You believed me. You protected my right to choose. You never tried to control me or fix me or save me. You just stood beside me. That's everything. Dominic is quiet for a moment. Then I need to tell you something. Emily tenses. Okay. When my mother died, she left me a letter. I've never told anyone what it said. You don't have to tell me. I want to. He takes a breath. She wrote that she was proud of the man I'd become, that I wasn't like my father, that I'd learned how to love without owning. And she asked me to promise I'd use our money to help women like her, women who stayed too long because they didn't know they had options. Emily's eyes burn. I promised her, Dominic continues, but I didn't really understand what that meant until I met you, until I saw what courage looks like, until I realized that helping doesn't mean saving. It means standing beside someone while they save themselves. Your mother would be proud of you. I hope so. His arms tighten around her. Because you've made me want to be better, not just for her legacy, for you, for our daughter, for every woman who needs to know that good men exist. Emily kisses him, soft and slow and full of promises. I love you, she whispers. I love you too. They fall asleep tangled together. For the first time in 3 years, Emily doesn't have nightmares. 2 weeks later, the DA calls. We have a problem, she says. Emily's stomach drops. What kind of problem? Ryan's lawyer is filing for a psychiatric evaluation, claiming their client isn't mentally competent to stand trial. That's bullshit, I know, but the judge has to allow it. It could delay the trial by months, maybe a year. Emily sinks onto the couch. So he wins. Again. He doesn't win. He delays. There's a difference. Not to me. The DA sighs. I know this is frustrating. But Emily, we have an airtight case, 6 victims, pattern evidence, physical proof. When this goes to trial, Ryan Keller is going to prison for a very long time. A delay doesn't change that. It changes everything for the women waiting for justice. I know, and I'm sorry, but this is how the system works. Emily hangs up. Dominic finds her 20 minutes later staring out the window. What's wrong, she tells him. His expression darkens. He's stalling. Obviously. We need to do something. Like what? We can't force the legal system to move faster. Dominic thinks for a moment. Then no, but we can make sure the world doesn't forget about him while we wait. What are you suggesting? A documentary about Ryan's victims, their stories, the pattern of abuse, everything he tried to hide. Dominic pulls out his phone. I know a filmmaker who specializes in true crime. She's done exposés on serial predators before. If we give her access to all 6 women, she could have something ready in 6 months. Emily's heart races. That would keep the story alive. Exactly. And it would give other victims a chance to come forward before trial, strengthen the case even more. Would the women agree to it? Let's ask them. They call Sarah first. She says yes immediately. Monica takes longer to decide, but eventually agrees. The other 3 women are scared, but willing. The filmmaker, a woman named Janet Torres, meets with them the following week. I want to be clear about something, Janet says at their first meeting. This documentary won't be easy. I'm going to ask hard questions, push you to share details you might not want to share. And when it's done, the world is going to see your pain. Are you prepared for that? The women look at each other. Sarah speaks first. I'm tired of Ryan controlling the narrative. If this documentary gives us our power back, I'm in. The others nod. Then let's do this, Janet says. Over the next 4 months, Janet interviews all 6 women. She films them separately, together, in their homes. At the support group meetings Emily helps organize, she doesn't sensationalize. She doesn't dramatize. She just lets them tell their truths. Emily watches the rough cut in Dominic's screening room. By the end, she's sobbing. Not from sadness, from recognition. These women are her. She is them. They're all survivors of the same monster. It's perfect, she tells Janet. You sure I can make edits? Don't change a thing. The world needs to see this exactly as it is. The documentary premieres at a film festival in October. It wins the Audience Award. Then it gets picked up by a major streaming platform. Within 2 days of release, it's the #1 watched documentary in the country. Emily's phone doesn't stop ringing. Reporters, survivors, women sharing their own stories of abuse. The hashtag I stand with Emily trends for a week. Ryan's family releases a statement condemning him. His former friends give interviews about red flags they missed. His employer publicly terminates his contract. The court of public opinion has spoken. Ryan Keller is finished. But Emily doesn't feel victorious. She feels exhausted. Is it always like this? She asked Dominic one night. This weight of carrying other people's pain. I don't know, I've never been this brave. I'm not brave, I'm just tired of being afraid. That's what bravery is. He pulls her close. Doing the thing that terrifies you because it's right. Emily rests against him. How much longer until the trial? 3 months, maybe 4. I don't know if I can do this for 3 more months. Then we'll take it one day at a time, 1 hour, 1 minute, whatever you need. Emily closes her eyes. What I need is for this to be over. It will be, soon. The call comes on a Tuesday. Emily is 7 months pregnant, showing now moving slower than usual. Dominic picks up his phone, listens. His face goes pale. What is it? Emily asks. He lowers the phone. Ryan attempted suicide in jail last night. Emily's world stops. Is he alive on suicide watch? But his lawyer is using it to argue he's mentally unfit for trial. Of course he is. Emily sits heavily. This is another manipulation. He's trying to avoid accountability. The DA doesn't think the judge will buy it. Too convenient. Too well-timed. But what if she does? What if he gets sent to a psychiatric facility instead of prison? Dominic kneels in front of her, takes her hands. Then we keep fighting. We appeal. We make sure the world knows what he is. But Emily, you need to prepare yourself for the possibility that he might never face the justice you want. That's not fair. I know. After everything we've done, everything we've sacrificed, he might just get away with it. Not get away with it. Get a different consequence. He's still locked up. He's still monitored. He's still destroyed publicly. That's not nothing. Emily wants to argue, but her body is tired. Her soul is tired. She's been fighting for so long. I just want it to be over, she whispers. I know, baby. I know. Dominic holds her while she cries. Outside Las Vegas glitters. Inside, Emily finally lets herself break. Because sometimes survival isn't about being strong. Sometimes it's just about lasting long enough to see tomorrow. And tomorrow she'll fight again. But tonight she lets herself fall apart in the arms of the man who taught her that love doesn't have to hurt. That protection doesn't mean possession. That she can be both broken and whole at the same time. Tonight that's enough. 3 weeks pass in a fog of doctor's appointments and legal briefings, and Emily's growing belly making everything harder. She's 8 months pregnant now. The baby kicks constantly like she's fighting her way out early. She has your spirit, Dominic says one morning at his hand on Emily's stomach. God help us both. He laughs. Then his phone rings. It's the DA. Emily watches his face change as he listens. Hope, disbelief, something close to joy. He hangs up. Ryan's psychiatrist cleared him for trial, Dominic says. Said the suicide attempt was manipulative behavior, not genuine mental illness. Judge agreed. Trial starts in 2 weeks. Emily's hands start shaking. 2 weeks. The DA fast-tracked it, said with the documentary and the public pressure they want to move while momentum is on our side. I'm due in 3 weeks. I know. What if I go into labor during testimony? Then we deal with it. Dominic takes her hands. But Emily, this is happening. After all this time, Ryan's actually going to trial. Are you ready? She thinks about the 6 women waiting for justice, about the dozens who've reached out since the documentary aired, about her daughter who deserves to be born into a world where her mother didn't back down. I'm ready, she says. The prosecution team meets with all 6 women the following Monday. The lead prosecutor, a sharp woman named Andrea Chen, walks them through what to expect. Ryan's defense is going to paint him as the victim, Andrea says. They'll argue he had difficult relationships with troubled women who misinterpreted his behavior. They'll try to discredit each of you individually. How? Sarah asks. They'll bring up your mental health history, your past relationships, anytime you stayed with Ryan after alleged abuse, anytime you contacted him after leaving, anything that makes you look unstable or vindictive. Monica goes pale. I have anxiety. I've been in therapy since I was 16 because of what Ryan did to me. They're going to use that against me. They'll try, but we're going to show the jury that anxiety is a symptom of abuse, not a character flaw. Andrea looks at each woman. I need you to understand something. This trial is going to be brutal. Ryan's lawyers are expensive and ruthless. They will humiliate you if they can. Are you prepared for that? Emily speaks before she can second-guess herself. We've been humiliated by Ryan for years. At least this time it's in service of justice. The other women nod. Good. Andrea opens her briefcase. Then let's prepare. They spend 12 hours going over testimony. Andrea plays Ryan's lawyer, asks the cruelest questions she can imagine. Miss Carter, isn't it true you stayed with Mr. Keller for 3 years after the first alleged assault? Yes. And during that time, you never once called the police. I called twice. Both times I hung up before they arrived because Ryan convinced me it was my fault. Convenient that there's no record of these calls. There's a record of the ER visits, the bruises, the broken rib, which you claimed were from falling downstairs. Because Ryan was standing next to me when the doctor asked, what was I supposed to say? Andrea nods. Good, but they'll push harder. They'll ask why you didn't leave right then, why you went home with him. Because I had nowhere else to go. He'd isolated me from my family, controlled my money. I was trapped. You're a grown woman. You could have walked out. Could I, when he threatened to kill himself if I left, when he said he'd destroy my career, when he convinced me I was crazy and no one would believe me? Emily's voice rises. Leaving an abuser isn't as simple as walking out a door. It's dismantling an entire system of control brick by brick until you can finally see a way out. Andrea smiles. Perfect. That's exactly what I need you to say on the stand. The night before trial, Emily can't sleep. She lies in bed next to Dominic, feeling the baby kick running through testimony in her head. You're thinking too loud, Dominic murmurs. Sorry. Don't be sorry. Just tell me what you're thinking. Emily rolls to face him. What if I mess up? What if I say the wrong thing and the jury doesn't believe me? They'll believe you. You don't know that. I do, because you're telling the truth, and truth has a weight that lies don't have. He touches her face. You've carried this truth for 3 years. Tomorrow, you get to put it down. That's all you have to do. Just put it down and let the jury carry it for you. What if it's not enough? Then we appeal. We keep fighting. But Emily, he looks into her eyes. You've already won. Whether the jury convicts or not, you've already won. You published your book. You helped 5 other women find their voices. You built a support system for survivors. You refused to be silenced. That's victory. Emily's eyes sting. It doesn't feel like victory. Not yet, but it will. When this is over and you're holding our daughter and Ryan is just a bad memory, it will feel like victory. I promise. She wants to believe him. Opening statements begin at 9 a.m. The courtroom is packed. Press, supporters, curious onlookers. Emily sits in the front row between Dominic and Sarah. The other victims are scattered throughout the gallery. Ryan sits at the defense table in an expensive suit, looking nothing like the monster who held a knife to her throat. He looks sad, defeated, sympathetic. It makes Emily's skin crawl. Andrea stands and addresses the jury. This case is about power, she begins. Specifically about a man who used his power to control, manipulate, and abuse 6 different women over 15 years. The defense will try to convince you these women are lying, that they're bitter exes seeking revenge or money or attention. But I'm going to show you something they can't explain away, a pattern. She clicks a remote. A timeline appears on the screen behind her. 2008, Ryan Keller begins dating Monica Keller, his younger sister. She's 15, he's 18. For 3 years, he psychologically tortures her, locks her in closets, tells her she's worthless, threatens to hurt their parents if she tells anyone. Monica is crying silently in the 3rd row. 2011, Ryan moves out for college, meets Sarah Chen. Within 6 months, the abuse begins. Isolation, control, eventually physical violence. Sarah escapes after 2 years when Ryan moves on to his next victim. Sarah grips Emily's hand. 2013 through 2016, 3 more women, same pattern. He love bombs them, isolates them, breaks them down, then discards them when they stop being controllable. The timeline continues. 2017, Ryan meets Emily Carter. By now, he's perfected his technique. The abuse is faster, more efficient, more devastating. But Emily does something none of his previous victims did. She fights back. She writes a book. She goes public. She refuses to disappear quietly. Andrea turns to face Ryan. And that's when he showed us who he really is. He stalked her, threatened her, broke into her home, kidnapped her at knife point. Because the one thing an abuser can't tolerate is losing control. She looks back at the jury. The defense will argue these women are unreliable. But I ask you, what are the odds that 6 different women across 15 years all independently decided to lie about the same man in exactly the same way? What are the odds they all have identical stories of abuse they never told anyone about until Emily Carter gave them permission to speak? Silence. The odds are 0 because they're not lying, they're telling the truth, and the defendant knows it. Andrea sits, Ryan's lawyer, a silver-haired man named Gerald Briggs, stands. Ladies and gentlemen, my client is not on trial for being a bad boyfriend. He's on trial for crimes he didn't commit based on testimony from women who have every reason to lie. Emily's stomach turns. Let's talk about Emily Carter, Briggs continues, a struggling writer who lands a job with one of Vegas's wealthiest men. Within months, she's sleeping with him, getting pregnant. And conveniently, right around that time, she publishes a book about an abusive ex that becomes a bestseller. A book that made her famous, made her money, made her the center of attention. Objection, Andrea stands. This is opening statement, not closing argument. Counsel is testifying. Sustained. Mr. Briggs, stick to what you intend to prove. Briggs nods. What I intend to prove is that Emily Carter saw an opportunity, a rich boyfriend, a sympathetic story, a chance at fame and fortune, and she took it. The other women, they saw her success and wanted a piece of it. This isn't a pattern of abuse. It's a pattern of opportunism. He sits. Emily can barely breathe. Dominic's hand finds hers under the table. Breathe, he whispers. Just breathe. The prosecution calls its first witness. Monica Keller takes the stand. She's shaking so hard the bailiff has to help her sit. Andrea approaches gently. Monica, can you tell the jury your relationship to the defendant? He's my brother. Her voice is barely audible. And when you were growing up, what was your relationship like? Normal, until I turned 15. What changed when you turned 15? Monica takes a breath. Ryan started controlling me. He'd tell me what to wear, who I could talk to. He said if I didn't listen to him, something bad would happen to our parents. Did you believe him? I was 15. He was 18 and 100 pounds heavier than me. Yes, I believed him. Can you describe specific incidents? Monica's hands twist in her lap. He locked me in my closet once for 6 hours because I talked to a boy at school. Another time he held my head underwater in the bathtub until I passed out because I told our mom I wanted to go to a friend's house without asking him first. The courtroom is silent. Did you tell your parents? No, he said if I did, he'd hurt them, make it look like an accident. I believed him. When did the abuse stop? When he moved out for college. But the damage, her voice breaks. The damage didn't stop. I've been in therapy for 12 years trying to undo what he did to me. Thank you, Monica. No further questions. Briggs stands for cross-examination. Miss Keller, you were 15 years old when this alleged abuse occurred, correct? Yes. And you're now 28, yes. So you're testifying about events that happened 13 years ago? Yes. Isn't it possible your memory of these events has been distorted over time? Monica looks him in the eye. I remember every detail. When you spend 6 hours locked in a closet, you don't forget. But you never reported this to authorities, never told a teacher or counselor, never called the police. I was a child. I was terrified. Or maybe it never happened the way you're claiming. It happened exactly how I'm claiming. Isn't it true you have a diagnosed anxiety disorder? Yes, because of what my brother did to me. Or perhaps you had a pre-existing condition that made you interpret normal sibling conflict as abuse. Andrea shoots to her feet. Objection, counsel is testifying again. Sustained. Mr. Briggs asks questions. Briggs changes tactics. Miss Keller, did you come forward with these allegations before or after Emily Carter's book was published? After. After she became famous for accusing your brother, after I finally had the courage to speak. Or after you saw an opportunity to be part of a trending story. Monica's voice hardens. I came forward because I watched Emily be brave enough to tell the truth, and I realized I didn't have to protect Ryan anymore. That's not opportunism. That's survival. Sarah testifies next. She's calmer than Monica, more prepared. She describes 3 years of escalating abuse. The first slap, the first time Ryan choked her, the night she escaped with a broken arm and nowhere to go. Why didn't you press charges? Andrea asks. He told me no one would believe me, that he had money and connections and I was nobody. And he was right. When I tried to tell my friends what happened, they said I must have misunderstood. That Ryan was such a good guy that I was probably exaggerating. So you stayed silent. Until Emily showed me I didn't have to. Briggs's cross is vicious. He brings up Sarah's 3 previous relationships, suggests she has a pattern of accusing men of abuse, points out she accepted money from Ryan after they broke up. $5,000, he says. He gave you $5,000. Why would an abuser give his victim money? Guilt, control, making sure I stayed quiet. Or payment for services rendered in a relationship that ended badly. I'm not a prostitute. I didn't say you were. I'm simply suggesting this money complicates your narrative of being a terrified victim. Sarah's voice shakes. I took the money because I was broke and homeless and desperate. That doesn't mean I wasn't abused. Or maybe you're rewriting history to fit Emily Carter's story. I'm telling my truth, the same truth I've been carrying for 8 years. The other 3 victims testify over the next 2 days. Each one describes the same pattern: love bombing, isolation, escalation, violence. Each one is torn apart on cross-examination. By the 3rd day, Emily can see the jury getting confused. 6 women with 6 similar stories, but are they too similar? Are they coordinating lying that night? Andrea calls an emergency meeting. We need Emily on the stand tomorrow, she says. The jury is starting to doubt the pattern. We need someone who can tie it all together, someone credible, someone sympathetic. Emily's 9 months pregnant, Dominic objects. She could go into labor any second. I know, but she's our strongest witness. She has documentation, photos, medical records, text messages, everything the other victims don't have. Emily touches her belly. The baby's been quiet all day, like she knows what's coming. I'll testify, Emily says. Dominic starts. I'll testify. Tomorrow, let's end this. Emily takes the stand at 10 a.m. on Friday. She's wearing a simple blue dress that barely contains her pregnant belly. No makeup except concealer to hide the exhaustion. She looks like what she is, a woman who's survived hell. Andrea starts with basic questions. How she met Ryan, how the relationship began. He was charming, Emily says, attentive. He made me feel like I was the only person in the world who mattered. When did that change? About 3 months in, he started criticizing little things. My clothes, my friends, the time I spent writing. He said he was just trying to help me be better. And you believed him. I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe someone cared enough to invest in making me better. When did the physical abuse start? Emily's hands clench in her lap. 6 months into the relationship, I stayed late at a writing workshop. Didn't check my phone. When I got home, Ryan was furious. He said I was disrespecting him. That I must have been cheating. I tried to explain, but her voice catches. He grabbed my arm so hard it left bruises. Then he cried and apologized and said he just loved me so much he couldn't stand the thought of losing me. What did you do? I forgave him because I thought it was a one-time thing. I thought he was just stressed. But it wasn't one time. No. Emily looks at the jury. It happened again 2 weeks later. Then again. Then it became the pattern. Every time I did something he didn't like, there were consequences. And every time he'd apologize after. Say it was my fault for pushing him, that he wouldn't have to get physical if I just listened better. Did you ever try to leave? Twice. Both times he threatened to kill himself, said if I left his blood would be on my hands. So I stayed. Why did you finally leave? Emily's voice drops. Because I realized staying meant dying. Maybe not physically, but emotionally, spiritually. I was disappearing, becoming someone I didn't recognize. And I decided I'd rather risk everything to be free than stay safe in a cage. Andrea pauses. Emily, I need to ask you about the night Ryan kidnapped you. Can you walk the jury through what happened? Emily does. Every detail. The knife, the car, the crash. By the time she finishes, half the jury is crying. No further questions, Andrea says. Briggs stands. Miss Carter, you're currently in a relationship with Dominic Hayes, correct? Yes. And Mr. Hayes is worth approximately $3 billion. I don't know his exact net worth, but he's wealthy, very wealthy. Yes. And he's paying for your legal defense in this case. He's ensuring I have the resources to fight back. Yes. He's also the father of your child. Yes. When did you begin your relationship with Mr. Hayes? Emily's stomach tightens. Here it comes. 6 months ago. 6 months. And when were you hired to work on his mother's cookbook project? Also 6 months ago. So you began a sexual relationship with your employer. We began a relationship after working together for several months, yes. Convenient timing, right around when you were preparing to publish your book about Ryan Keller. The timing had nothing to do with the book. Didn't it? You needed publicity, protection, money, and suddenly a billionaire falls into your lap. Objection. Andrea is on her feet. Argumentative. Counsel is testifying. Sustained. Mr. Briggs rephrase. Briggs smiles. Let me put it differently. Isn't it true that you saw an opportunity to upgrade from your struggling ex-boyfriend to a billionaire and you took it? No. Isn't it true that you fabricated or exaggerated your abuse allegations to make yourself more sympathetic to Mr. Hayes? No. Isn't it true that this entire case is about revenge against a man who broke up with you and an opportunity to secure wealth through a new relationship? Emily looks Briggs dead in the eye. No, this case is about a man who spent 3 years destroying me and then couldn't handle me rebuilding myself. Everything I've said about Ryan is true. Every word. And the fact that I found love after escaping him doesn't make me a liar. It makes me a survivor. The cross-examination continues for 3 hours. Briggs goes after every inconsistency, every gap in Emily's story, every decision that doesn't make sense to someone who's never been abused. You say Ryan controlled your money, but bank records show you made withdrawals. You had access to funds. Access he monitored. Every purchase I made, I had to justify. If he didn't approve, there were consequences, such as he'd take my debit card, force me to account for every cent. Sometimes he'd withhold money for days as punishment. But you could have opened your own account, not without him finding out. And when he found out, I tried. Emily's voice shakes. He put his hands around my throat and told me if I ever went behind his back again, he'd make sure I never did anything behind anyone's back ever again. The courtroom goes silent. You have photos of these injuries, Briggs asks. Some, not all. Sometimes the bruises were in places that clothes would cover. Sometimes I was too ashamed to document them. Convenient. No, human. Abuse victims don't always have perfect documentation because we're too busy surviving to create an evidence file. Briggs switches tactics. Let's talk about the night Mr. Keller allegedly kidnapped you. You claim he had a knife to your throat. Yes. But you didn't scream when you saw the security guards? Because he would have killed me before they could intervene. Or because you weren't actually in danger. Because this was a consensual meeting that went wrong, and you're now reframing as kidnapping. Emily's hands shake with rage. He held a knife to my throat. He threatened to kill Dominic. He crashed the car trying to escape. How was any of that consensual? You chose to get in his car under duress, according to you. According to the security footage, the witness statements, the police report, the knife they recovered from the scene with Ryan's fingerprints all over it. Briggs pauses. He knows he's losing this line of questioning. One final question, Miss Carter. You've made a lot of money from your book about Ryan Keller, haven't you? Some, yes. How much? I don't see how that's relevant. Answer the question. Emily looks at Andrea. Andrea nods. About 400,000 so far, between advances and royalties. Briggs's eyes light up. $400,000 from a book accusing my client of abuse, and you expect this jury to believe profit had nothing to do with your allegations? Emily leans forward. I would give back every cent if it meant I'd never been abused in the first place. But I was abused, and I wrote about it, and if exposing the truth happens to be profitable, that doesn't make the truth any less true. Emily steps down from the stand at 4 p.m. She's exhausted. Her back aches. The baby's kicking hard. Dominic catches her as she nearly stumbles. You did amazing. I don't feel amazing. I feel like I just got eviscerated. You held your own. The jury saw it. Emily isn't so sure. That night she can't sleep. Contractions start around midnight. Not regular, just enough to panic her. Should we go to the hospital? Dominic asks. Not yet. They're probably just Braxton Hicks, stress contractions. You sure? No, but I'm not giving birth during Ryan's trial. I refuse. He almost laughs. I don't think you get to choose. A contraction hits hard enough to steal her breath. Dominic is already reaching for his phone. We're going to the hospital. Dominic. Now, Emily, we're going now. The hospital confirms she's in early labor. Not active yet, the nurse says. Could be hours, could be days, but the baby's coming soon. How soon? Within the week, probably. Emily's heart sinks. The trial isn't over yet. Then the trial will have to continue without you. I can't miss closing arguments. Emily, the doctor gives her a stern look. Your body is preparing to give birth. That takes priority over everything else, including court. Emily wants to argue, but another contraction steals her words. They keep her overnight for observation. By morning, the contractions have slowed, but not stopped. You're at 3 centimeters, the nurse says. I'd recommend staying close to the hospital for the next few days. Andrea arrives at noon with updates. The defense rested this morning, she says. Closing arguments are Monday. Can you be there? Emily looks at Dominic. He shakes his head. I don't know, Emily admits. My body might have other plans. If you can't make it, I'll tell the jury you're in labor. It'll actually help our case. Shows you're not making this up for attention if you're literally giving birth instead of attending closing arguments. That feels manipulative. It's truth, you're 9 months pregnant. You testified while in early labor. The jury will respect that. Emily hopes she's right. Sunday night, Emily's water breaks. She's in Dominic's penthouse trying to rest when she feels it. Dominic. He's beside her instantly. What's wrong? My water just broke. We need to go. The hospital is a blur of activity. Nurses, monitors, doctors checking dilation. You're at 7 centimeters, the OB says. Moving fast. Baby should be here within a few hours. Emily grips Dominic's hand. I'm supposed to be in court tomorrow. Court can wait. Our daughter can't. Labor is brutal. 12 hours of contractions that feel like her body is tearing apart. Dominic never leaves her side. He holds her hand through every contraction, whispers encouragement when she's sure she can't do this anymore. You're the strongest person I know, he says. If anyone can do this, it's you. I can't. You can. You survived Ryan. You survived the trial. You can survive this. At 6 a.m. Monday morning, the same time closing arguments are starting 30 miles away, Emily gives birth to a daughter, 7 pounds, 4 ounces. Perfect. The baby cries and Emily cries and Dominic cries, and for one perfect moment, the trial doesn't exist. There's only this, their daughter, their family. She's beautiful, Dominic whispers. She's ours, Emily says. They name her Grace, after Dominic's mother. The jury deliberates for 3 days. Emily watches from her hospital bed, baby Grace sleeping on her chest as news anchors speculate about the verdict. The defense made a strong case that these women coordinated their stories, but the prosecution's pattern evidence is compelling. It all comes down to whether the jury believes 6 women over 1 man. On Thursday afternoon, the call comes. Verdict's in. Emily wants to go to the courthouse. The doctor says absolutely not. So she watches on the hospital TV with Dominic beside her and Grace in her arm. The jury files in. The foreman stands. On the charge of kidnapping in the 1st degree, how do you find guilty? Emily's breath catches. On the charge of assault with a deadly weapon, how do you find guilty? Dominic's hand tightens on hers. On the charge of stalking, how do you find guilty? The charges keep coming. Guilty, 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 every single count. Ryan's face goes white. His lawyer objects. The judge overrules. Mr. Keller, you have been found guilty on all counts. Sentencing is set for 3 weeks from today. Until then, you will remain in custody without bail. They lead Ryan away in handcuffs. He's screaming something, but the camera cuts away before Emily can hear it. She doesn't need to hear it. It's over. After 3 years of fighting, it's finally over. The hospital room fills with people. Sarah and Monica and the other 3 victims. Andrea and her legal team. Marcus with flowers and a teddy bear for Grace. Everyone's crying and laughing and hugging. We did it, Sarah keeps saying. We actually did it. Emily holds Grace tighter. You did it? All of you. You were so brave. You were brave first, Monica says. You showed us how. That night, after everyone leaves, Emily and Dominic sit in the quiet hospital room with their daughter. How do you feel, he asks. Emily considers the question. She feels exhausted, relieved, grateful, terrified of being a mother, proud of what they accomplished, sad for all the years Ryan stole. I feel free, she finally says. For the first time in 3 years, I feel free. Dominic kisses her forehead. Good, because you are. He can't hurt you anymore. Can't hurt any of us. What happens at sentencing? Andrea thinks he'll get 30 to 40 years minimum. With his record and the multiple convictions, he'll die in prison. Emily should feel satisfaction. She doesn't. She just feels tired. Is it wrong that I don't feel happy he's going to prison? She asks. No, because this isn't about revenge. It's about justice. And justice doesn't always feel good. It just feels necessary. Emily looks down at Grace, her daughter, her miracle. I want to raise her differently, she says quietly. I want her to know she doesn't have to accept less than she deserves, that love shouldn't hurt, that her voice matters. We will, together. Promise me something. Anything. Promise me we'll tell her the truth, about Ryan, about the trial, about everything. When she's old enough to understand, I want her to know her mother fought back, that she didn't stay silent. Dominic's eyes are wet. I promise. Sentencing happens 3 weeks later. Emily's recovered enough to attend. She leaves Grace with a nurse and goes to the courthouse with Dominic. All 6 women give victim impact statements. Monica goes first. She talks about 13 years of therapy, about relationships she couldn't maintain because Ryan taught her love equals pain. Sarah talks about the scars on her body and soul, about how she still flinches when men raise their voices. The other 3 share their stories, their struggles, their ongoing battles with PTSD and anxiety and trust. Then it's Emily's turn. She stands at the podium with notes she doesn't need. Ryan Keller stole 3 years of my life, she begins. But he didn't steal my future. I'm a published author, a mother, a survivor who turned her pain into purpose. I run a foundation that helps women escape abuse. I have a partner who treats me with respect and love and dignity. I have a daughter who will grow up knowing her mother refused to be silenced. She looks at Ryan. He's thinner, older, broken. You tried to destroy me, she says. You failed, and you'll spend the rest of your life knowing that every woman you hurt is out there living full, beautiful lives while you rot in a cell. That's justice. She sits. The judge pronounces sentence. 45 years. Ryan will be 83 when he's eligible for parole. Effectively a life sentence. Emily watches them take him away. This time he doesn't scream. He just walks, head down, defeated. Outside, the courthouse reporters swarm. Emily makes a brief statement. This verdict is for every woman who's been told she's lying, every survivor who's been blamed for her abuse, every victim who's too scared to speak. Your story matters, your truth matters, and you are not alone. Then she goes home to her daughter, to Dominic, to the life she built from the ashes of the one Ryan tried to burn down. And for the first time in 3 years, she sleeps through the night without nightmares. Because the monster is caged, and she is free. Freedom doesn't feel the way Emily imagined. She thought it would be light, joyful, simple. Instead, it's complicated. Grace is 6 weeks old when the nightmares start. Not about Ryan, about losing her daughter, about being a terrible mother, about Dominic waking up one day and realizing he made a mistake. You're not a mistake, Dominic says at 3 a.m. when Emily's crying over the baby monitor. And you're not a terrible mother. How do you know Grace won't stop crying and I don't know what I'm doing wrong? You're not doing anything wrong. She's a baby. Babies cry. But what if I can't do this? What if I'm too broken from what Ryan did to be a good parent? Dominic pulls her close. Then we'll figure it out together. But Emily, you survived 3 years of abuse and took down a serial predator. You can handle a crying baby. Emily wants to believe him. Grace wails louder. The Survivor Support Group meets every Tuesday at the Hayes Foundation building. Emily started it 3 months ago. 20 women show up the first week. By week 8, there are 50, all of them Ryan's victims in some way. Some he dated, some he harassed, some he just made feel small. Tonight, a new woman joins. Her name is Rebecca. She's 19, still in college. I don't know if I belong here, Rebecca says quietly. Ryan never hit me. He made me feel like I was going crazy. Sarah reaches for her hand. That's abuse too. But everyone here has these terrible stories, and I let him control me for 6 months, and then he dumped me, and I should just be grateful it ended. No, Emily's voice is firm. You don't have to be grateful for being discarded. You don't have to minimize your pain because someone else's seems worse. Pain isn't a competition. It's just pain. Rebecca starts crying. The other women surround her. Hold her. Tell her she's safe. This is what Emily wanted, this community, this proof that speaking the truth creates space for others to speak theirs. After the meeting, Monica pulls Emily aside. I need to tell you something, Monica says. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong, it's just I've been sober for 3 weeks. Emily's eyes widen. Monica, that's incredible. I started drinking after Ryan went to prison. Thought it would help me feel better. It didn't. It just made everything worse. Monica's voice shakes. But watching you build all this while taking care of a newborn made me realize I was wasting the freedom we fought for. So I checked into rehab, did 30 days, and now I'm here. Actually here. Not just surviving. Living. Emily hugs her. I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of me too. For the first time in my life. Dominic proposes on a random Thursday. No fancy restaurant, no elaborate plan, just Grace sleeping in her bassinet and Emily folding laundry and Dominic walking into the room with a ring box. What are you doing? Emily asks. Something I should have done months ago. He opens the box. Emily Carter, I love you. I love the way you fight for what's right even when it's hard. I love the way you hold Grace like she's the most precious thing in the world. I love that you cry during Pixar movies and refuse to eat mint chocolate chip ice cream because it tastes like toothpaste. Emily laughs through sudden tears. I want to spend the rest of my life making you feel safe, Dominic continues. Not because you need me to save you, but because you deserve someone who chooses you every single day. Will you marry me? Emily looks at the ring. It's simple, elegant, nothing like the ostentatious diamond Ryan gave her years ago. Yes, she whispers. Yes. He slides the ring onto her finger, kisses her like they have all the time in the world. Grace wakes up crying. They both laugh. Welcome to our life, Emily says. Wouldn't want it any other way. The wedding planning starts immediately. Emily's mother wants a big ceremony. Dominic's board expects something lavish. The press is already speculating about Vegas's most eligible bachelor finally settling down. I don't want any of that, Emily tells Dominic one night. What do you want? Something small, just us and the people who actually matter. No cameras, no performance, just real. Then that's what we'll do. His event planner nearly quits when they tell her. Mr. Hayes, you can't have a small wedding. You're one of the most prominent businessmen in Nevada. People expect. I don't care what people expect, Dominic says. This is Emily's day. We're doing it her way. They settle on a garden ceremony at the foundation building. 50 guests, simple flowers, a string quartet playing while Emily walks down a gravel path. No magazine deals, no exclusive photos, just a wedding. But 2 weeks before the ceremony, Emily's publisher calls. We need to talk about the sequel, Karen says. Emily's stomach drops. What sequel to your memoir? Readers are asking what happened after the trial. They want to know about the foundation, the other victims, your relationship with Dominic. It's a natural continuation. I'm not writing a sequel. Emily, I understand you want privacy, but this is a huge opportunity. I said no, the book was about surviving Ryan. That story is over. Everything after is mine, not for public consumption. Karen sighs. I was afraid you'd say that. Just think about it. The offer will stand. Emily hangs up feeling sick. What's wrong? Dominic asks. They want me to write another book about us, about Grace, about everything that's supposed to be private. And you said no. Of course I said no. But what if they're right? What if survivors need to see the after? The part where you rebuild and it's messy and hard, but you do it anyway. Dominic takes her hands. If you want to write that book, someday write it. But not because they're pressuring you, because you're ready. There's a difference. 3 days before the wedding, Emily gets a letter. It's postmarked from the prison where Ryan's being held. Her hands shake as she opens it. Emily, I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I need you to know I'm sorry. I've been in therapy for 6 months, working through my issues, trying to understand why I did the things I did. My therapist says I have childhood trauma that manifested as control issues. I know that doesn't excuse anything, but I want you to know I'm trying to be better. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that you were right to leave. You were right to fight back. You were right about everything. I hope you're happy. I hope you're healing. I hope someday you can remember the good parts of us without the bad parts destroying them. Ryan. Emily reads it 3 times, then she calls Andrea. He's not allowed to contact you, Andrea says immediately. This violates the restraining order. I know, but Andrea read this. Does this sound like the Ryan we know? Andrea reads it over the phone. It sounds like someone who took a manipulation class in prison. Emily, this is a tactic. He's trying to worm his way back into your head. What if he's actually changed? People like Ryan don't change. They just get better at hiding. Emily wants to believe that, but part of her, the part that loved Ryan before he destroyed her, wants to believe people can grow. What should I do? She asks. Burn the letter. Don't respond. Don't engage. And I'll file a complaint with the prison to make sure it doesn't happen again. Emily hangs up. She stares at the letter for a long time. Then she does something she knows she shouldn't. She writes back. Ryan, I got your letter. I don't know if you're sincere or if this is another game, but I'm going to tell you something I wish someone had told me 3 years ago. You don't get to use therapy language to minimize what you did. Calling it control issues instead of abuse doesn't make it less devastating. And apologizing doesn't undo the damage. I hope you're actually working on yourself. I hope you're not just learning how to be a more effective manipulator, but whether you change or not isn't my concern anymore. I've moved on. I'm getting married to someone who treats me with respect. I have a daughter who will never know what it's like to be afraid of someone who claims to love her. I have a life that you don't get to be part of. This is the last time I'll ever communicate with you, not because I hate you, because you're irrelevant to me now, and that's the ultimate freedom. Emily. She mails it before she can second-guess herself. Dominic finds out 2 days later when the prison contacts Andrea about a restraining order violation. You wrote back to him. Dominic's voice is carefully controlled. I needed closure. Emily engaging with him is the opposite of closure. I know what it looks like. But Dominic, I needed to say those words. I needed him to know he doesn't matter anymore. He already knows that. He's in prison for 45 years. That's not the same as hearing it from me. Dominic runs his hands through his hair. What did you say? Emily shows him a copy of the letter. He reads it. His expression softens. Okay, he says finally. Okay. It's a good letter. Clear boundaries. No opening for manipulation. I still think you shouldn't have responded, but I get why you did. You're not mad. I'm worried. There's a difference. He pulls her close. Just promise me if he writes again, you won't respond. Promise me you'll let Andrea handle it. I promise, but Ryan doesn't write again. The wedding day arrives. Emily wakes up at 6 a.m. with Grace crying and nerves eating her alive. What if I'm making a mistake? She asks Sarah, who's helping her get ready. You're not making a mistake. You're marrying a man who literally took a knife for you. But what if I'm still too broken? What if I'm not ready for this? Sarah turns Emily to face her. Listen to me. You're never going to feel completely ready. Trauma doesn't work like that. It doesn't heal on a schedule. But Dominic knows what he's getting. He knows your history. He knows your triggers. And he's choosing you anyway. That's not a mistake. That's love. Emily takes a shaky breath. Okay. Okay, let's get married. The ceremony is perfect. Simple white dress, wildflowers in her hair, Grace in a tiny basket being carried by Monica. Dominic waits at the end of the aisle in a dark suit, looking at Emily like she hung the stars. When she reaches him, he whispers, "You're beautiful." I'm terrified. Me too, let's be terrified together. The officiant begins. Emily barely hears the words. She's too focused on Dominic's hands holding hers. On the way, he's looking at her like she's everything he's ever wanted. When it's time for vows, Dominic goes first. Emily, 3 years ago, I was living a half-life, going through the motions, building wealth but not meaning. Then you walked into my office and reminded me what it feels like to care about something beyond money. You taught me that love isn't about possession, it's about partnership, about standing beside someone while they fight their battles, about celebrating their victories like they're your own. I promise to never make you feel caged, to respect your boundaries, to love you on your bad days as fiercely as I love you on your good ones, and to raise our daughter to know that she deserves nothing less than everything. Emily's crying before he finishes. Then it's her turn. Dominic, I spent 3 years believing powerful men only take, only control, only destroy. You proved me wrong. You showed me that strength can be gentle, that protection doesn't mean possession, that love can heal instead of hurt. I promise to trust you even when my trauma tells me not to communicate instead of assuming, to build a life with you that our daughter can be proud of, and to never stop fighting for the things that matter, including us. The officiant pronounces them married. Dominic kisses her while everyone applauds. Grace starts crying. Emily laughs through tears. That's our life in a nutshell. Perfect, Dominic says. The reception is small, close friends, family. The 5 women who fought beside Emily. They eat, dance, tell stories. Monica gives a toast that makes everyone cry. Emily taught me that survival is just the beginning, that the real victory is what you build after. Looking around this room, seeing all the lives she's changed, all the women she's helped, this is what beating your abuser looks like. Not revenge, rebirth. Sarah adds, and she did it while raising a baby and planning a wedding and running a foundation, which makes the rest of us look like slackers. Everyone laughs. Emily stands to respond. I didn't do this alone, she says. On with them. Every woman in this room contributed to Ryan's conviction. Every person here supported me when I wanted to give up. This isn't my victory. It's ours. And I'm grateful for every single one of you. Dominic squeezes her hand under the table. Later, during her first dance, Emily whispers, thank you. For what? For seeing me, the real me, not the broken version Ryan left behind, the complicated, messy, still healing version, and loving her anyway. That's the only version I've ever seen, Dominic says, and she's magnificent. The honeymoon is supposed to be 2 weeks in Italy. They make it 3 days before Emily gets the call. It's Andrea. I need you to come back to Vegas, she says. What? Why do I need to? Ryan's appealing his conviction. His new lawyer found a technicality in the jury selection process. Claims one of the jurors had a bias that should have disqualified them. Emily's stomach drops. Can they overturn the verdict? It's unlikely, but there's going to be a hearing, and the prosecution wants you there to show the judge that overturning this conviction would be a miscarriage of justice. When? Next week. Emily looks at Dominic, at Grace sleeping in her travel crib, at their Italian villa overlooking the ocean. I'll be there, she says. After she hangs up, Dominic asks, do you want me to go with you? You already sacrificed your honeymoon. I can't ask you to. Emily, he takes her face in his hands. Where you go, I go. That's what marriage means, especially when the going gets hard. Emily's eyes fill. Okay, we'll go together. The hearing is brutal. Ryan's new lawyer, a woman named Patricia Mills, argues that Juror 7 failed to disclose she had a friend who was a domestic violence survivor. This created an inherent bias, Patricia says. My client was denied a fair trial. Andrea counters that the juror was asked if she personally experienced domestic violence. She said no. Having a friend who experienced it doesn't constitute bias. The judge asks to question the juror directly. She's a middle-aged woman named Janet, clearly terrified. Did you know someone who experienced domestic violence when you were selected for this jury, the judge asks. Yes, Your Honor, my college roommate. Why didn't you disclose that? Because the question was whether I had personally experienced it. I hadn't. And my friend's situation was 20 years ago. I didn't think it was relevant. Did it influence your verdict? No, Your Honor. I based my verdict on the evidence presented. 6 women with consistent stories, documentation, expert testimony. It was overwhelming. Patricia pounces. But you came into that jury box already predisposed to believe women who claim abuse. I came into that jury box predisposed to listen to evidence, Janet interrupts, which is exactly what I did. And the evidence proved Mr. Keller is guilty. The judge calls a recess. Emily paces in the hallway outside the courtroom. What if they overturn it, she asked Dominic. What if we have to do this all over again? Then we do it again, and we win again, because the truth doesn't change just because the jury does. Andrea joins them. The judge is going to rule against the appeal. I can feel it. How do you know? Because overturning a conviction based on this technicality would set a dangerous precedent. Every defendant could claim juror bias after the fact. The system doesn't work that way. Emily wants to believe her. The judge returns with her ruling. After careful consideration, I find that Juror 7's failure to disclose her connection to a domestic violence survivor does not constitute grounds for overturning this conviction. The juror was not asked about friends or acquaintances. She was asked about personal experience. She answered truthfully. Furthermore, the evidence presented at trial was substantial enough that no single juror's alleged bias could have swayed the verdict. The appeal is denied. Emily nearly collapses with relief. Ryan's face goes red. This is bullshit. She lied. They all lied. Mr. Keller, control yourself or I'll hold you in contempt. The judge warns. I don't care. This whole trial was rigged from the start. Emily Carter is a liar and a manipulator, and everyone knows it. Security moves toward him. Patricia tries to calm him down, but Ryan's too far gone. You think you won. He's screaming at Emily now. You think putting me in prison changes anything. I'll appeal this again. I'll keep fighting until someone finally sees the truth. The truth is you're a convicted felon, Emily says quietly, and you'll die in prison. That's the only truth that matters now. Ryan lunges toward her. Security tackles him before he gets close. They drag him out, still screaming. The courtroom erupts in chaos. Emily stands frozen, Dominic's arm around her, watching the man who destroyed her be dragged away one final time. It's really over now, Dominic whispers. Is it? He said he'll keep appealing. He can appeal all he wants. He's not getting out, ever. Emily wants to believe that. They fly back to Italy to salvage what's left of their honeymoon. But Emily can't relax. Every time her phone rings, she thinks it's Andrea with bad news. Every time Grace cries, she thinks about Ryan's threat. Every time Dominic touches her, she flinches before she can stop herself. Talk to me, Dominic says on their 5th night back. I'm fine. You're not fine. You've barely slept since the hearing. Emily sits up. What if he does get out? What if some judge somewhere actually believes him and overturns the conviction? That's not going to happen. You don't know that. The system fails survivors all the time. What if we're next? Dominic pulls her into his arms. Then we deal with it, together. But Emily, you can't live your life waiting for the other shoe to drop. Ryan's in prison. He's going to die there. You won. You survived. You built a life he can't touch. Don't let him take that from you by living in fear of what might happen. I don't know how to stop being afraid. Then we'll figure it out together. Therapy, support groups, whatever you need, but you don't have to carry this alone anymore. Emily cries against his chest. She's so tired of crying, but maybe that's part of healing too. Letting yourself feel everything instead of pushing it down. They return to Vegas 2 weeks later. The foundation has grown in Emily's absence. They've helped 12 women leave abusive situations, found housing for 8, legal representation for 6. You've built something incredible here, the foundation's director tells Emily. We've built it. This isn't just mine. But it started with you, your courage, Your refusal to stay silent. Emily thinks about that conversation for days. She started this to help other women, but somewhere along the way it became her healing too, turning her pain into purpose. One afternoon she's in her office when a young woman walks in. She's maybe 22, bruises on her arms, barely covered by long sleeves. "Are you Emily Carter?" the woman asks. "Yes, can I help you?" "I hope so. My name is Jessica, and I need to leave my boyfriend before he kills me." Emily's heart breaks. She knows this story. She lived this story. "You're in the right place," Emily says gently. "Tell me everything." Jessica does. It takes 2 hours. By the end, Emily has a safety plan in place. A shelter bed secured, a restraining order filed. "Why are you helping me?" Jessica asks. "You don't even know me." "Because 5 years ago I was you, and I wish someone had helped me sooner. So I'm paying it forward." Jessica starts crying. "Thank you. Thank you so much." After she leaves, Emily sits in her office feeling something she hasn't felt in months. Peace. This is why she survived. To help women like Jessica escape before it's too late. Grace's first birthday arrives faster than Emily expected. They throw a small party, just family and close friends, cake and balloons, and Grace destroying a cupcake with her tiny hands. "I can't believe she's won already," Emily says to Dominic. "I can't believe we survived her first year." They laugh. It's been hard. The sleepless nights, the constant worry, the balancing act of parenting and running a foundation and healing from trauma. But it's also been beautiful. Watching Grace take her first steps, hearing her first word, seeing her smile when Dominic walks into the room. This is what Ryan tried to steal from Emily. This joy, this family, this life, and she got it anyway. That night, after Grace is asleep and the guests have left, Dominic finds Emily on the balcony. "What are you thinking about?" he asks. "How different my life is from what I thought it would be. 5 years ago, I was trapped with Ryan, believing I'd never escape, never be happy, never be free. And now look at this. Look at us." Dominic wraps his arms around her from behind. "You did this. You fought for this. We did this. I couldn't have done it without you." "Yes, you could have. You're the strongest person I know." Emily leans back against him. "I don't feel strong. I feel lucky." Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. You prepared by surviving. The opportunity was finding someone who wouldn't let you give up on yourself. That's a very philosophical way of saying you're stubborn. He laughs. "I prefer determined." Emily gets a call from her publisher 2 months later. "I know you said no to the sequel," Karen says, "but hear me out. What if instead of a memoir, you write a guide for survivors who are trying to rebuild after abuse? Practical advice, resources, stories from the women you've helped. Less about you, more about them." Emily considers it. "I'd want to include the other women, Sarah, Monica, the others. It should be all of our voices, not just mine." I love that. A collective narrative, showing different paths to healing. And all proceeds go to the foundation. I don't want to profit from this. Done. Should I send a contract? Emily looks at Grace playing on the floor, at the stack of letters from survivors asking for help, at the life she's built from the ashes. "Send it," she says. Writing the book takes 8 months. Emily interviews 50 survivors, documents their journeys from escape to healing, includes practical resources for leaving abusive relationships, finding housing, getting legal help. Sarah writes a chapter about reclaiming your identity after abuse. Monica writes about addiction and recovery. The other women contribute their stories. It's not about Ryan, it's about survival, resilience, hope. The book is published on the 5-year anniversary of Emily leaving Ryan. It becomes a #1 bestseller within a week. Not because of scandal this time, because it's useful, because it helps. Emily does a book tour, speaks at shelters and colleges and community centers. At every stop, women approach her with tears in their eyes. "Your book saved my life. Your story gave me courage to leave. I didn't think anyone would believe me until I read this." One night after a particularly emotional reading, Emily calls Dominic from her hotel room. "I think I finally understand," she says. "Understand what? Why I survived. It wasn't random. It wasn't luck. I survived so I could help others survive. So I could turn the worst thing that ever happened to me into the best thing I ever did. You've always been doing that, Dominic says, from the moment you published your first book. You just couldn't see it yet. I can see it now, but I'm good because I'm proud of you. Grace is proud of you. Hell, the whole world should be proud of you. I'm just doing what needed to be done. That's what heroes always say. Emily smiles. I'm not a hero. I'm just a survivor who refused to stay silent. Same thing, Dominic says. And maybe he's right. Maybe heroism isn't about being fearless. It's about being terrified and showing up anyway. Emily flies home the next day. Dominic and Grace pick her up from the airport. Grace is walking now, toddling toward Emily with her arms outstretched. Emily scoops her up, breathing in the smell of baby shampoo and home. Mama, Grace says. It's still her favorite word. I'm here, baby. Mama's home. Dominic kisses her. How was the tour? Exhausting, emotional, worth it. That's how all good things are. They drive back to the penthouse that's become a home. Grace falls asleep in her car seat. Dominic carries her inside while Emily follows with luggage. Later, after Grace is in bed and Emily's unpacked, she finds Dominic in his study. I've been thinking about something, she says. What's that, Dom? I want another baby. Dominic looks up surprised. Really? Really, Grace needs a sibling, and I want to experience pregnancy without the shadow of Ryan hanging over it. I want to enjoy it this time. Dominic walks to her, takes her hands. Are you sure with the foundation and the book tour and everything? I'm sure. I want our family to grow. I want Grace to have what I didn't have. Siblings, safety, parents who love each other without violence. Then let's do it, Dominic says. He kisses her. And for the first time in 5 years, Emily feels completely, utterly whole. Not because Ryan's in prison, not because she won, but because she's building a life so full of love that there's no room left for fear. And that's the ultimate victory. Emily's pregnant again 4 months later. This time there's no fear, no hiding, no wondering if she deserves happiness, just joy. We're having a boy, the ultrasound technician says at the 20-week appointment. Dominic's eyes fill with tears. A son. Emily squeezes his hand. Grace is going to be a big sister. The technician smiles. She'll be great at it. Look at him on the screen. He's already kicking. Emily watches the tiny form moving inside her. Her son. Their son. This baby was created in love, not fear. That makes all the difference. On the drive home, Dominic asks, have you thought about names? Actually, yes. I want to name him after someone important. Hukwaba, your mother. I know Grace already has her name as a middle name, but what about Gabriel? It means God is my strength. Your mother found her strength when she finally left your father. I want our son to carry that legacy. Dominic has to pull over because he's crying too hard to drive safely. Gabriel Hayes, he says, it's perfect. Grace turns 2 the same week Emily hits her 3rd trimester. The terrible twos are living up to their name. No, Grace screams when Emily tries to put on her shoes. Sweetie, we have to go to the foundation. Mama has a meeting, and no meeting, stay home. Emily takes a breath, counts to 10. Reminds herself this is normal toddler behavior, not a reflection of her parenting. I know you want to stay home, she says calmly, but Mama has important work. We're helping people today. Don't care. Want Dada? Dominic appears in the doorway. You called. Grace runs to him. Dada. Tell Mama, stay home. He picks her up. Nice try, princess. But Mama's work is important. She helps people who are scared feel safe again. Like you helped Mama. Emily's heart stops. Grace is 2. She shouldn't understand, but somehow she does. Yes, Dominic says quietly, like I helped Mama, and now Mama helps other people. That's what heroes do. Grace considers this. Mama hero, the biggest hero I know. Okay, Mama go help people. I come too. Emily's eyes sting. You want to come with me? Yes, I help too. Dominic meets Emily's gaze over Grace's head. His expression says everything. Their daughter is growing up watching her mother turn pain into purpose. That's the legacy Emily never knew she'd create. The foundation has helped 200 women in 2 years. Emily sits in her office reviewing case files when her assistant buzzes. Emily, there's someone here to see you. She doesn't have an appointment, but she says it's urgent. Send her in. A woman walks in, mid-40s, expensive clothes, trembling hands. Mrs. Hayes, my name is Patricia Mills. Emily's blood runs cold. Patricia Mills, Ryan's appeal lawyer. What are you doing here? Patricia sits without being invited. I need to talk to you about Ryan Keller. We have nothing to discuss. Please, just 5 minutes. Emily should say no, should call security, but something in Patricia's face makes her pause. You have 3 minutes. Patricia takes a breath. I want to apologize for taking Ryan's case, for trying to overturn his conviction, for suggesting you and the other women were lying. Emily's jaw clenches. Why guilty conscience? Something like that. Patricia's hands twist in her lap. My daughter started dating someone 6 months ago. Nice guy, charming, successful. Then last week she showed up at my house with a black eye and the same excuses I heard from Ryan's victims. He was just stressed. I provoked him. It won't happen again. Emily's anger softens slightly. I'm sorry. I finally understood what you were saying, what all those women were saying, and I'm horrified that I defended a man who destroyed so many lives. Patricia looks up. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I was wrong, and I'm sorry. Emily doesn't know what to say. Is your daughter safe? She asks finally. She is now. I used every legal connection I have to get a restraining order. Found her a new apartment. Got her into therapy. Patricia pauses. I used your book as a guide, the one about rebuilding after abuse. It saved her. I'm glad. I know this doesn't fix what I did, but I wanted you to know that your work matters, even to people like me who didn't believe at first. Patricia stands, leaves before Emily can respond. Emily sits in stunned silence. Even Ryan's own lawyer finally understands. Emily goes into labor 3 weeks early. She's at the foundation when her water breaks. Grace is with Dominic at a business meeting across town. Call my husband, Emily gasps to her assistant. Tell him it's time. The ambulance arrives within minutes. They're loading her into it when her phone rings. Unknown number. She shouldn't answer, but something makes her. Hello. Emily Carter. A man's voice. Unfamiliar. Yes. Who is this? My name is David Chen. I'm a corrections officer at the prison where Ryan Keller is being held. I'm calling because he asked me to contact you. Emily's contractions stop her from hanging up immediately. What does he want? He's dying, pancreatic cancer. He has maybe 2 weeks left. He's asking to see you one last time. The world tilts. He's dying. Yes, ma'am. I know you have no reason to grant this request, but he said he needs to tell you something important. Tell him no. Ma'am, tell him I said no. I'm in labor with my son. I'm not wasting 1 second of my joy on his death. Emily hangs up. The EMT looks concerned. Everything okay? Perfect. Let's go have a baby. Gabriel Hayes is born at 4:37 p.m., 8 pounds 2 ounces. Healthy? Perfect. Dominic arrives 20 minutes after delivery, Grace in his arms, both of them crying when they see the baby. You have a brother, Dominic tells Grace. Grace touches Gabriel's tiny hand. Baby. That's right. This is Gabriel, and we're going to love him and protect him forever. Emily watches her family, her husband, her daughter, her newborn son. This is what survival looks like. Then her phone buzzes. Another unknown number. Against her better judgment, she answers. Mrs. Hayes, this is Dr. Morrison from the prison medical unit. Ryan Keller passed away 2 hours ago. Before he died, he gave me a letter to send you. Can I have your address? Emily's hands shake. What does the letter say? I don't know. It's sealed. He made me promise to deliver it only to you. Emily gives her foundation address. The letter arrives 3 days later. She stares at it for an hour before opening it. Inside is a single page. Emily, I'm dying. I know you don't care. I wouldn't either. But I need you to know something. The therapist here made me write letters to everyone I hurt. Accountability exercises, she called them. I wrote 12 letters, one for each woman whose life I destroyed. Monica, Sarah, Jessica, all of them. But yours was the hardest to write because you're the one who got away, the one who proved I wasn't invincible, the one who showed the world who I really am. I spent 3 years hating you for that. Then I spent 2 years in therapy learning that I should hate myself instead. You were right about everything. I was a monster. I did destroy you. And you surviving me was the best revenge you could have gotten. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm just telling you that you won. Completely. Totally. I'm dying alone and unmourned while you're out there living a life I tried to steal from you. That's justice. I hope you're happy. I hope your children never know fear the way I taught you fear. I hope you forget I ever existed. You deserve that, Ryan. Emily reads it 3 times, then she does something unexpected. She cries. Why are you crying? Dominic finds her in the nursery, Gabriel sleeping in her arms, tears streaming down her face. She shows him the letter. He reads it. His expression hardens. Even in death, he's trying to manipulate you. I know. But Dominic, what if he actually meant it? What if he really understood what he did? Does it matter he's dead? He can't hurt anyone else? Whether he died remorseful or defiant doesn't change what he did to you. I know, but I spent so long wanting him to understand, to acknowledge the pain he caused. And now he did, and I don't know how to feel about it. Dominic sits beside her. You don't have to feel anything. You don't owe him your grief or your forgiveness or your emotional energy. He's gone. You're here. That's all that matters. Emily looks at Gabriel. I want to tell him someday. When he's old enough to understand about Ryan, about what I survived, about why Mama works so hard to help other people. We will. We'll tell both kids when they're ready. What if they think I'm weak for staying with him for 3 years? They'll think you're strong for leaving, for fighting back, for building all of this from the ashes. Dominic touches her face. Emily, you're the strongest person I know. Our kids will see that. Everyone sees that. Emily takes a shaky breath. Okay. I'm burning this letter. I don't need his deathbed confession. I don't need his acknowledgement. I have everything I need right here. She stands, walks to the fireplace, throws the letter into the flames, watches it burn to ash. Ryan Keller is finally completely gone. The foundation celebrates its 3rd anniversary with a gala. 500 attendees, including 50 women the foundation has helped escape abuse. Emily gives a speech. 3 years ago, I published a book about surviving domestic violence. I thought that was the end of my story, but it was just the beginning, because survival isn't a destination. It's a journey, and that journey includes helping others find their way out of darkness. She looks at the women in the audience. Some she knows, some she's never met. This foundation has helped 500 women leave abusive relationships. We've provided housing, legal aid, therapy, job training, and most importantly, we've believed them. We've told them their stories matter. Their pain is real. Their survival is heroic. Applause fills the ballroom. But we're not done. For every woman we've helped, there are thousands more trapped in situations they think they can't escape. So tonight I'm announcing a new initiative, the Carter Hayes National Survivor Network, a coalition of shelters, legal clinics, and support groups across the country, working together to make sure no survivor ever feels alone. The crowd rises to their feet. Sarah finds Emily after the speech. You're changing the world. You know that, right? We're changing the world. This isn't just me. It started with you. Don't forget that. Monica joins them. Remember when we were all terrified to testify? Now look at us, running a national organization, helping hundreds of women, living lives Ryan said we didn't deserve. He was wrong about everything, Emily says. That's what abusers do. They lie, and we're proving that their lies don't define us. Grace starts preschool the following fall. Emily's terrified. What if the other kids are mean to her? What if she's not ready? What if she tells people about Ryan and they think our family is weird? Dominic takes her hands. Grace is going to be fine. She's smart, kind, and resilient, just like her mother. What if I'm projecting my trauma onto her? Then we adjust. But Emily, you can't protect her from everything. Part of raising strong kids is letting them face challenges. Emily knows he's right, but watching Grace walk into that preschool classroom feels like sending a piece of her heart into the unknown. Grace turns at the door, waves. Bye, Mama, I'd be brave. Emily waves back, crying. She'll be brave, Dominic says, because she learned from the best. That afternoon, Emily picks Grace up. How was your first day? Good, I made a friend. Her name is Lily. She has a mama and 2 daddies. That's wonderful. I told her my mama helps people. She said her daddy helps people too. He's a firefighter. Emily's heart swells. Grace is proud of her mother's work. That's all Emily ever wanted. 2 years pass in a blur of foundation work, parenting, and healing. Then Emily gets a call from a literary agent. I represent a man named Tom Keller, Ryan's father. He wants to write a book about his son, a cautionary tale about how he failed as a parent. He's asking for your permission to include your story. Emily's stomach drops. Absolutely not. He expected you'd say that. He wanted me to tell you that all proceeds would go to domestic violence charities, that he's not trying to profit from Ryan's crimes. He's trying to prevent other fathers from making his mistakes. I don't care about his intentions. The answer is no. Can I ask why? Because I don't owe Ryan's family anything. His father failed him. That's tragic, but it's not my responsibility to help him feel better about that failure by letting him use my trauma for his redemption story. The agent sighs. I understand. Thank you for your time. Emily hangs up, but the conversation bothers her all day. That night, she tells Dominic about it. Do you think I'm being unfair? She asks. No, you're protecting yourself. That's healthy. But what if Tom Keller really has changed? What if he could help other parents recognize warning signs in their kids? Then he can write that book without using your story. He doesn't need your trauma to make his point. Emily thinks about Tom Keller, about his role in creating the monster who destroyed so many lives. I want to meet him, she says suddenly. What? Why? Because I need to understand. How does a father not see what his son is becoming? How does he miss all the signs? Emily, you don't owe him that. I know, but I want to do it anyway. For me, not for him. They meet at a coffee shop. Tom Keller looks old, broken, nothing like the wealthy businessman who raised Ryan. Thank you for seeing me, he says quietly. Emily doesn't respond. I know you have no reason to help me, but I need you to understand I didn't know. I didn't see what Ryan was becoming until it was too late. How could you not see it? Monica told you he was hurting her. She begged you to make him stop. Tom's face crumbles. She told me she and Ryan fought. Not that he was abusing her. I thought it was normal sibling conflict. Locking someone in a closet for 6 hours isn't normal conflict. I know that now. But at the time, I believed Ryan when he said Monica was exaggerating, that she was attention-seeking. Tom's hands shake around his coffee cup. I failed my daughter. I created a monster, and I have to live with that for the rest of my life. Emily studies him. Why do you want to write this book? Because maybe if other parents read about my failures, they'll recognize the signs I missed. Maybe they'll intervene before their child becomes the next Ryan Keller. And you think using my story will make your book more compelling. I think your story shows the real cost of my failures. But if you say no, I'll respect that. I'll write the book without mentioning you. Emily sits back. Here's what I'll agree to. You can mention me, but only to say that Ryan had multiple victims and I was one of them. No details, no specifics. And you donate every cent of profit to the foundation, not to generic charities, to my foundation. Tom's eyes widen. You'd let me do that. On one condition, you write one chapter about Monica, about what you missed, about how you failed her, and you let her approve that chapter before publication. If she says no, you cut it. Deal. Thank you, Emily. You're more gracious than I deserve. This isn't grace. This is strategy. I'm using your guilt to fund my foundation. Don't mistake that for forgiveness. Tom nods. I understand. Monica calls Emily that night. Did you really tell Tom he could write about me? Only if you approve what he writes. You have full control. Monica's quiet for a long moment. Why would you do that? Because maybe it helps. Maybe some father reads Tom's story and recognizes himself and gets his kid help before it's too late. That's worth letting Tom try to make amends. Do you think he'll actually donate the money? I'm making sure of it. Contract, legally binding, every penny. Monica laughs. You've gotten ruthless in your old age. I prefer strategic. I like it. Okay, I'll work with him. But Emily, thank you for always thinking about how to help more people, even when it's hard. That's what survivors do. We turn our pain into purpose. Grace is 6 and Gabriel is 4 when Emily publishes her 3rd book. This one isn't about Ryan, it's about raising children after trauma. How to parent when you're still healing, how to break cycles of abuse, how to teach your kids about healthy relationships when your own history is complicated. The book resonates with thousands of parents. Emily does another tour, but this time she brings her family. Dominic takes time off work. They turn it into a road trip, visiting cities, meeting readers, showing the kids that mama's work helps people. In Denver, a woman approaches Emily after her reading. "Your book saved my relationship with my daughter," the woman says. "I was so afraid of repeating my mother's mistakes that I was pushing her away. Your chapter about letting kids see your healing process, it changed everything." Emily hugs her. "I'm so glad." In Chicago, a man tells her he bought the book for his wife who survived abuse. She's struggling with feeling like she's failing our kids because of her PTSD. "Your book showed her she's not failing, she's surviving. That's enough." These stories fill Emily's heart. This is why she writes, why she shares, why she refuses to stay silent. They're in New York when Emily gets the call. Sarah is in the hospital. Suicide attempt. Emily's world stops. "I need to go home," she tells Dominic. "We'll all go, right now." They catch the next flight to Vegas. Emily goes straight to the hospital. Sarah looks small in the hospital bed. Fragile, broken. "I'm sorry," Sarah whispers when she sees Emily. Emily pulls up a chair, takes her hand. "Don't apologize. Just tell me what happened." "I don't know. I thought I was doing okay. Going to therapy, taking my meds, running the support groups. But then I had a nightmare about Ryan and I couldn't shake it. It was like I was back there, trapped, helpless. And I wanted it to stop." "Sarah, I know it was stupid. I know I have so much to live for, but in that moment I couldn't see it. I could only feel the pain." Emily's eyes fill. "I understand. Do you because you're so strong? You built this incredible life. You have a family and a foundation, and you're changing the world. And I'm still just broken." "Stop, you're not broken, you're healing, and healing isn't linear. There are good days and bad days and days where you take 10 steps backward. That doesn't make you weak, it makes you human." Sarah starts crying. "I don't want to feel like this anymore." "I know, but Sarah, you have to stay because the world needs you. Those women in our support group need you. I need you." "You don't need me." "Yes, I do. You were the first person to believe me when I said Ryan was dangerous. You testified when it terrified you. You helped it build this foundation. You're my best friend. I can't do this without you." Sarah grips Emily's hand. "Okay, I'll stay. I'll get help, real help. Not just therapy once a week. I'll check into a program. I'll do the work. We'll do the work. Together. Like we always have." Sarah spends 60 days in an intensive trauma treatment program. Emily visits every weekend. They talk about Ryan, about the trial, about the ongoing struggle to feel normal after surviving the abnormal. "Do you ever wish you'd never met him?" Sarah asks one day. Emily considers the question. "Sometimes. But then I think about who I became because of surviving him. I'm stronger, more compassionate, more determined. Would I trade the trauma to not have those qualities I don't know? It's complicated." That's the thing no one tells you. Healing is complicated. You can be grateful for who you became while still hating what made you become that person. Exactly. Both things can be true. When Sarah is released, she moves into the foundation building. "I want to be surrounded by the work," she says, "by the reminder that we're helping people, that our pain has purpose." Emily helps her set up a small apartment on the 3rd floor. "Thank you," Sarah says, "for not giving up on me." "Never. We're in this together, always." 5 years after Ryan's death, Emily receives an invitation. The governor wants to give her an award for her work with domestic violence survivors. "You don't have to go," Dominic says, "if it's too much." Emily looks at the invitation, at the recognition of everything she's built from the ashes of her trauma. "I want to go. I want Grace and Gabriel to see it. I want them to understand that surviving hard things can lead to doing important things." The ceremony is formal. Politicians and activists and survivors filling a grand ballroom. When they call Emily's name, she walks to the stage with Dominic, Grace, and Gabriel beside her. The governor speaks about the foundation, about the 5,000 women they've helped over 8 years, about the national network of resources they've created. Emily Carter Hayes turned her darkest experience into a beacon of light for others, the governor says. She's proof that survival is just the beginning. The real heroism is what you build after. Emily accepts the award, then she gives a speech. I'm accepting this award on behalf of every survivor who's ever been told they're lying. Every woman who's been blamed for her abuse, every person who's fought their way out of darkness and decided to help others do the same. This award belongs to all of us because we're not victims. We're warriors, and we're changing the world one survivor at a time. The standing ovation lasts 3 minutes. Afterward, Grace tugs on Emily's dress. Mama, you're famous. Emily kneels down. No, baby. I'm just someone who refused to stay silent. There's a difference. But everyone was clapping for you, yo. They were clapping for all the women we've helped, for every person who found courage to leave a dangerous situation. I'm just the face of something much bigger. Gabriel, ever the practical one, asks, can we get ice cream now? Everyone laughs. Yes, Dominic says, we can definitely get ice cream. 10 years after leaving Ryan, Emily stands in the foundation building. It's expanded. 3 floors now, 50 staff members, partnerships with shelters in all 50 states. She walks through seeing the impact everywhere. Women in the legal clinic getting restraining orders. Kids in the child care center playing safely while their mothers attend therapy. Support groups meeting in conference rooms. Job training happening in the computer lab. This is what victory looks like. Not revenge, not Ryan suffering in prison or dying alone. This. Building something so beautiful from something so broken that the world becomes safer because of it. Sarah finds her in the hallway. You okay? Sarah asks. Just thinking about how far we've come. We've come pretty far. From terrified women testifying in court to running a national organization. Monica joins them. Did someone say national organization? Because I just got off the phone with a senator who wants to introduce legislation for better funding of domestic violence programs. She's using our model as a template. Emily's eyes widen. Are you serious? Dead serious. Our work is going federal. Emily, we're about to change the law. The 3 women hug in the hallway. 10 years ago, they were Ryan's victims. Now they're advocates, activists, proof that abusers don't get the last word. That night, Emily tucks Grace and Gabriel into bed. Tell us a story, Mama, Grace says. What kind of story? A brave one. Emily thinks for a moment, then begins. Once upon a time, there was a woman who loved the wrong person. He hurt her and scared her and made her think she'd never be free. But one day she found her courage. She left. She fought back. She told her a truth, even when people didn't believe her. And she built a life so full of love and purpose that the bad things that happened to her became just a chapter in her story, not the whole book. Is that you, Mama? Gabriel asks. Yes, baby, that's me. And you're happy now? Grace's voice is sleepy. Emily looks at her children, at the home she's built, at the life she never thought she'd have. I'm very happy because I learned that surviving is just the beginning. The real magic is what you build after. She kisses them both goodnight. Downstairs, Dominic is waiting. Kids asleep, he asks. Finally, he pulls her into his arms. I'm proud of you. Have I told you that lately? Maybe once or twice. I'll say it again. I'm proud of you. For everything you've survived, everything you've built, everything you are. Emily leans into him. I couldn't have done it without you. Yes, you could have. You were already doing it when we met. I just had the privilege of standing beside you while you saved yourself. They stand there in the quiet of their home, their family sleeping upstairs, their foundation changing lives across the country. Emily thinks about Ryan sometimes, not with pain anymore, just with acknowledgement that he existed and she survived him, and that survival led to everything good in her life. Do you think the kids will understand, Emily asks, when they're older and we tell them the whole story? They'll understand that their mother is a warrior, that love shouldn't hurt, that speaking the truth matters even when it's hard. That's what we'll teach them. And if they face their own battles someday, then they'll have you as an example. They'll know that surviving is possible, that healing is possible, that building a beautiful life after trauma is possible, because they watched you do it. Emily smiles. No pressure or anything. You handle pressure better than anyone I know. They go to bed. Emily falls asleep wrapped in Dominic's arms, Grace and Gabriel, safe down the hall. the foundation helping women across the country, her story inspiring thousands to find their own courage. This is what breaking the silence looks like. Not just escaping your abuser, not just surviving, but thriving, building, creating a legacy that transforms your pain into power and your trauma into triumph. Ryan tried to destroy her. Instead, he gave her a purpose, and that purpose changed the world. Emily Carter Hayes survived domestic violence, exposed a serial abuser, helped 5,000 women escape danger, raised 2 children who know love should never hurt, built a marriage based on respect instead of control, and proved that the most powerful thing a survivor can do is refuse to stay silent. She didn't just survive, she won. And she spent the rest of her life making sure every other survivor knew they could win too.